going to be playing today in the Pro-Am. You excited? How'd you hit him early today? Already been on the range. Already grinding out on the range. Get your VJ Sing on.
Well, I just had to go.
Just pounding balls.
Dilfer's on the range.
Why is he not coming by the show today? There he is.
He's
right
off
there.
at 7:10. They're about to call him up in 2 seconds.
Come right now.
They are 100% yelling at him right now on the first tee because they expect you to be up there like 30 minutes before you tee off. So Dilfer is saying, you know what? I ain't worried about it. I'm gonna get this driver dialed in.
See, I didn't see. I don't think I've seen him hit a golf ball.
I played with him yesterday, and Trent is an excellent golfer. I mean, really, really good. Currently carrying a 1.6 handicap, but that is sandbagger city. I mean, he's every bit of a +2. A little rusty, you could tell, but
what's the difference between a 0.6 and a +2?
About 3 shots. So he basically, if he's playing against, say, a 5 handicap, he'd have to give him 4 aside or 3 aside. But he is.
What's the strength of his game? Distance?
Short game.
Short game?
Yes.
He's good around the greens?
His short game
putt?
at putting's amazing.
Okay.
And he's a grinder. He'll hit it offline, but you'll walk off the green and he will have made some 31-foot putt for par.
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
he's amazing.
Okay.
Love playing with him. And he likes to get a good game going, you know. He just have a little action on the course, which I'm all in favor of.
Hey, we're not going to I don't think we go into that here in the
Well, it's not like aggressive. It's like, you know.
It's good. I'm not sure who that was, but he just made it right down the middle of the giant field goal post here in the driving range. Actually, a pretty cool setup for us this year. We're like 10 yards behind guys actually going at it on the driving range here. So pretty cool to kind of be in a different location right here in the middle of the action. You've already been out there. Did you hook some, slice some?
No.
Worm burners?
I'm hitting it okay.
Fat, skinny?
I'm hitting it okay. I got some work to do, but I got some time. I just need to get a little loosened up because I know time will not necessarily allow for a lot of swings here in a little bit.
Are you intimidated by playing with A.J. McCarron in your group today?
No, I don't often get intimidated by playing with a lot of people, but I can tell you this. Like if I were playing with a tour guy like Tiger Woods or Rory, that would probably mess with me a little bit. But having played in this event now 6-7 straight years, I think I'll be okay. I've kind of come to terms with the fact that if I just hit one in the woods on one, the 100 and some odd people that see it, they'll be able to make fun of me. But I can live with that. You know, they're probably making fun of me anyways.
Problem is you did it on one, you might hit people also.
No.
That's what you want to try to avoid out here.
Might hit a car, but
never go full Brando at the Regions tradition.
What did Brando do?
Oh, that's a story for off the air, I think.
Yeah, I think we'll be okay. It's going to be fun today. It's a great event, benefits children of Alabama, and we are so lucky and fortunate to have, I think, as good of a children's hospital in America right in our own backyard.
There's no doubt.
We take that for granted every day, and I'm just constantly reminded of how amazing that is to have it here and to have something like this to help benefit it is truly amazing.
So you also have Greg Sankey in front of you, which could be problematic.
Probably not going to hit.
You have to be careful not to hit into that group.
Yeah, I'll probably wait until they clear the fairway before I pull it back.
Who's the guy that's out there today that obviously not the PGA Tour professional, but you think could give Trent a run? Is it Coach Freeze?
Well, Coach Freeze is the best coach for sure. Coach Freeze probably playing right now to about, I think his handicap's listed at about a 5, which is probably 3 shots too many. He's probably about a 2. Coach is a really good player. Played with him a bunch, too, over the years.
I'm just looking at some of these other guys going off. Like, it's not going to be Nate Oates. It's not going to be Bo Jackson. It's not going to be Sankey. It's not going to be Kirby. It's not Taylor Hicks. It's not – I don't know Riley Green and Jamie Johnson's game.
I don't know. If you were to go through the celebrities, I bet with the handicaps would probably be Dilfer 1, Freeze 2, and then probably – I don't know what AJ is. I'm probably right there. I really don't know.
I doubt Moose is up there.
No, not. I've played with him before.
Barkley's not going to be there. Tuberville's not there.
No.
So I don't know. I don't know who else is going to really.
Let's look up AJ's handicap. I'm going to need that for the game today.
AJ doesn't take me as the kind of guy that really keeps up with it.
You
really
don't think?
cares that much about it. I don't know.
I don't know, dude. It's competitive. He's still playing,
Yeah,
so I guess it's a little different.
No, he doesn't play. He's not playing.
Well, I know, but what is recent. Oh, it says he's a scratch. So AJ, according to this, says it's a .2 handicap. So he's scratch. That means that he's number 1. Dilfer would be 2.
Oh boy.
And then Freeze would be 3.
Pressure now. Because
For
I
what?
have a feel. Well, I know a lot of guys, especially former college football players, that just kind of say stuff like that, like, "Oh, I'm scratch," and they don't really know what it means. And then all of a sudden, you got to start putting pen to paper, and it comes to a deal like this, and it comes back to haunt you a little bit.
Yeah. I've kind of come to terms with the fact that I'm a pretty average golfer. I like to play. I think it's fun to play. It keeps me active. It keeps me competitive, but I'm not going out here with some outrageous expectations. If you are scratch, I do think there's a certain level of expectation that comes with putting a tee in the ground for sure.
All right, today's going to be a fun day. We've got Nate Oates, we've got Bo Jackson, A.J. McCarron going to stop by our table, Hugh Freeze, Kirby Smart, Nick Saban, Kalen DeBoer, Charles Barkley, all going to stop by the show. It's always entertaining. It's always fun. Always good to catch up with a lot of the guys. And McElroy's going to be playing a little bit later today. When do you tee off? 7:05?
7:06. That's right now, so I got to go.
Yeah.
It's a good time. Good show today.
Great job.
I didn't get any reads in.
Thanks for showing up. You have to wait to hear all those coaches join the show, but one thing you never have to wait for is your dental care.
That's because Family Care Dental has you taken care of at the urgent care office where you can be seen the same day in 5 locations to make it easy on you: Hoover, Fultondale, Homewood, Alabaster, and now open in Trustful. They can get you in today. They can also see you on Fridays and Saturdays, and with every routine cleaning comes free teeth whitening. So it's a great place, and it's a great group, and they'll get you in, and they'll get you taken care of. All patients' ages are accepted, and most insurance plans are accepted. So call Family Care Dental today at 874-9605. That's Family Care Dental, 874-9605.
We talked yesterday about feeling like it was a little bit closer to college football season. It started to feel a little bit more real. We had even more of that yesterday. We'll tell you what it is and when it's going to be and who it will be right after this on Mac and Cube in the morning. Welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning, 7-11, Wednesday, May 14th, live here on Jocks 94.5 from Greystone and the Regions Tradition. It's going to be a fun day out here. If you guys haven't had a chance to come out, check it out all weekend. Great event. Just come watch some amazing golf at a beautiful place and just enjoy yourself. And we'll be enjoying ourselves in front of the TVs here in a couple of months. We will tell you exactly who's going to be playing, when, and where in just a moment.
Bill Smith Buick GMC is the GMC Dealer of the Year. 5 times they've won the national championship, and it's amazing to think that they just continue to get better year over year. The improvements never stop. Andy Cole and Jonathan Yeager have done an amazing job creating a culture up there of excellence. And you can go right now and get an incredible GMC Sierra 1500 Denali Ultimate. This is the nicest trim, probably the nicest truck you'll ever see. I mean, these things are absolutely off the charts beautiful. You can get it for $15,000 off the sticker. $15,000 off the sticker. It's deals like that keep people coming back. That's why 75% of their business is repeat customers. That's why they sell more GMCs than anyone in the entire Southeast. That's not just Alabama, ladies and gentlemen. That is in the entire Southeast. So take the short drive up to Coleman. You'll see what I'm talking about. You'll see the deals. You'll see the service, and you'll see the experience is unmatched. When you take the short drive up to Coleman, exit I-65, exit 310, Highway 31 in Coleman. Or you can also shop online. Have it delivered right to your driveway at BillSmithBuickGMC.com.
LSU announces a home-and-home with SMU yesterday, 28 and 29. September 2nd of 2028 will be in Baton Rouge. September 1st of 2029, they will play in Dallas. Also,
tell me how good the people watching is going to be with SMU and LSU. Could there be 2 more opposite fan bases when it comes to the pregame festivities?
West Virginia and Harvard?
It's about like that. It's about like that. Remember when LSU went to West Virginia a couple years ago? How perfect mayhem, just perfection between those 2 fan bases. And then they went to Lambeau Field a few years after that. And just how perfect the mashup is there. Imagine SMU fans descending on University Park, Highland Park, Texas, one of the richest zip codes in America, and LSU fans coming in and just trenching front yards of $20 million houses with their RVs ready to roll, baby. It'll be amazing. I can't wait for that game.
It's a really cool campus. It's a cool spot. Place. It's Coach Lashley's had his. We did the bowl game that was actually at that stadium.
It's a cool stadium.
It is a really cool stadium. They've done some great renovations to it. The locker room, the facility that SMU really just. I don't even know if it was completely finished when Rhett took me around in it when we were there for the game. His office has a little patio that goes out, and he has seats to sit there and watch a game. I went up there and interviewed him. And I was like, why don't you just get the house right across the street? And you can just walk. You can walk to work every day. And he was like, yeah, I would need a raise.
I need a huge raise for that.
A big raise for that one. He's like, you'd be surprised at the price tag on that one. That's literally right across the street from the SMU facility. I mean, you walk through the parking lot and then go across the street, and there's the house.
Yeah, I think that University Park area, if you don't have 8 figures to throw at a house, you're going to have a tough time finding one that's within close proximity to SMU campus. But it is like one of the most pristine campuses on planet Earth. It's just absolutely beautiful. Small, but
cool
beautiful.
Place. All right, ESPN Upfronts yesterday, where they present a lot of the things that are going to be happening. They unveiled the new direct-to-consumer for $29.99 a month.
You like the name of it?
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
Did you see the name of it? It's ESPN.
Yeah. I thought there was like some hook or something I was supposed to get there. I was
but they had played with like a bunch of different names and had considered a bunch of options, and they finally, at the end of the day, in the 11th hour, decided, you know what, we have a pretty decent little brand here called ESPN, and I think we'll just keep it.
Just leave that.
Yeah.
So they announced also some game times and networks that we're going to get this fall, and it will start August the 23rd. It's Saturday. At 11 a.m. from Dublin, Ireland, Iowa State, Kansas State. That'll be on ESPN. Obviously, that'll be pretty much standalone, so no debating who's going to be watching that, where they'll be. We'll be tuned in for that one. Thursday, August 28th, it's 4:30. You'll get Boise at South Florida on ESPN, and then at 8 p.m., you'll get Nebraska Cincinnati from Kansas City on ESPN. Friday night, you get Georgia Tech at Colorado, 7 o'clock on ESPN, and then Saturday, This ABC triple header is going to be monstrous on August the 30th. Syracuse versus Tennessee in Atlanta. That'll be at 11 a.m. 2:30, Alabama at Florida State. And then at 6:30 p.m., LSU at Clemson. That is your triple header on ABC for the opening Saturday of college football. I'm not going to give that to August 23rd. I'm sorry. But it's a day, it's a college football game. But the opening Saturday of college football for me is going to be the 30th. And that's a monster triple header, Greg, on ABC.
Yeah, week one is I think it's a huge opportunity for college football, one that we need to continue to keep leaning into. When you just look at the opportunity we have with the NFL out of the way, I mean, we'd be foolish not to try as a sport to maximize that viewership. And if that means triple headers on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it's a 4-day weekend. I mean, half the people I know don't work Friday anymore. They work half day on Friday, so they can probably find their way to a happy hour somewhere at noon to watch a game. Triple header Friday, kick it off Thursday night, triple header Friday, triple header Saturday, triple header Sunday, and then we should do a triple header on Labor Day Monday. I would love that, and I think there's an opportunity to be had there. If we can continue to create great matchups, we can capture an audience without the NFL getting in the way.
Sunday night, you'll get Virginia Tech, South Carolina, also from Atlanta. That'll be, or Sunday afternoon, excuse me. That'll be 2 p.m. on ESPN, and then that Notre Dame-Miami matchup Sunday night at 6:30 on both on ABC. And then, of course, that Monday night game, TCU at North Carolina. So Coach Belichick getting it going there. And that one will bring a lot of eyeballs for a lot of different reasons, Greg, on Monday night. I mean, it's the end of that Labor Day weekend, opening weekend. Of course, we all tune into that Monday night game, but you throw Belichick out there with two solid brands like TCU and North Carolina, that one should do well.
I think it's going to do really well because there's a lot of interest surrounding Bill Belichick naturally. And I can't say I'm surprised when you take into account his hiring and I guess you could say not necessarily. I think the off-the-field stuff's completely overblown as it relates to his girlfriend. But what do I know? I think it sells in May, so people are going to play the hits. But I also think that he has a chance to do something at a place that has long been considered a sleeping giant. They finally have the resources. I think his hiring is an indicator of their commitment to college football, and they have a lot of talent in their backyard. And, I mean, really, Mac didn't do a bad job there. I mean,
no.
they won a bunch of games and had some success and played in an Orange Bowl. I mean, they did a pretty good job, and that was with one arm tied behind their back. Now I think the alignment that they have is encouraging, and now it's just about sustaining the momentum.
Well, it's going to be fun, obviously, no matter what. But then when you start seeing some of these times, you start seeing the actual matchups, it becomes a little bit more real and even just a little bit more fun. One thing that's not fun is having floors that are messed up and floors that maybe have some issues with them. If you have that, you should probably call Shinar Flooring.
Yeah, you should. Fu and his company have done an amazing job of making sure that they create an experience for their customers that is unrivaled. They want to make sure they are as buttoned up as anybody, and more so in many areas, including having 40,000 square feet of CoreTech flooring in stock right now. That's by Shaw. And this Shaw flooring, this CoreTech flooring is amazing. They're easy to clean and maintain. They're 100% waterproof. They're ideal for kitchens, laundry rooms, bathrooms, everywhere. You can get 12 months financing with approved credit, so you can go and see it for yourself in the showroom, get what you need, look at what you need, touch it, feel it, experience it before you install it. And when they install it, nobody's going to do a better job than Fu and his team. So if you think about making some changes to your floors, call Call Fu, call them at 205-518-6423, or you can go online at fuandyou.com.
Who is this cat in the Navy right here? Do you know?
I do not.
He is ripping the ball. Watch this shot.
Tor, dude. Tor sauce. Next to him is Stricker.
He's hitting the fairway wood now. He was hitting like a middle iron a minute ago, and just the ball just kept going.
Dude, these guys can
He
tag
has no muscle definition, pot belly. Looks like he's about 65.
Is it your
and
dream
just slamming
scenario?
the ball. No, my dream is that my back would hold up to be able to do that, actually. But that's not going to happen.
Just got to get you some band work.
That's it. That's the only thing we need is just band work to fix all the herniated discs and degenerative disc disease, and we'd be fine.
I've been told that's all you need
That's
is just
it.
band work.
That's the only thing.
Mobility exercises.
All right, we've got Nate Oates coming up, Bo Jackson coming up, A.J. McCarron coming up. We'll get to a break and get going with those right after this on Mac and Cube in the morning. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. Hugh Free should be joining us in a couple moments. He's next door. Bo Jackson just walking by. We have to have Bo back on to ask him if the hiccups are cured.
Is that the biggest story to ever come out of
100%.
Mac and Cube?
It's the biggest story to ever come out of this tournament.
They wrote about it on the New York Post.
Dov Kleiman was tweeting about it. Took clips from the show that day. Which if Dov Kleiman's tweeting about NFL news coming from us, you know you made it. We made it that day. That was the biggest day in our show's history.
I remember having people text me. The only thing that rivaled it was youth baseball bat gate. That was the only one that rivaled the.
I saw your boy Corey Reamer last night at dinner, and he goes, y'all are rattling some cages on the Little League bats.
Yeah.
It's like, that's your boy McElroy, not me. I'm not trying to get the people going like that.
Yeah, well, I am not involved, so I respect your reasoning.
Speaking of
avoid.
we do need to give a quick update on that. And I hate to continue to just go back to it, but when things happen, we need to address them. Apparently, a GBBA rule change is effective immediately. The GBBA board has unanimously agreed to change the following rule. 5.7, the official bat shall be constructed of wood, aluminum, or any other material of combination of materials. I got to get Judge a wooden bat.
I'm about to say, I want to know which team's going up there with wood because that's the team I'm buying long-term.
I respect the hell out of them.
That's the team I'm buying long-term. If you get a second grader a wood bat, we got action.
If they can get it around.
I'm about to say, that is so cool. He's going to make he's going to make Judge and Locke hit with a wood bat and throw with a heavy ball. So you're going to learn, son.
By the way, we've been throwing with a heavy ball in the
Oh my gosh, it's a dead giveaway. Never a doubt.
So we had these like sandbag balls that we hit because they won't go out of the yard. Yeah. And so one of them got left out in the rain, and now it's like 2 pounds. And so I was like, come out here and throw this with me a little bit. And we were throwing back and forth. And then I was like, now feel this. And I threw him a real baseball. I'm not kidding. My son thought it was a fake baseball. He's like, Mom, feel this baseball Dad has. It's so light. Feel this is a fake baseball. And she's like, Judge, it's an actual baseball, buddy. Like it's a real ball. But hey, like you said, get the arm strength.
Hey, here's the funny thing. It's like you can go heavy ball and you get stronger, or you can go lighter ball and get twitchier. And they're both, by the way, both pathways have been used to creating arm talent and arm speed. Isn't that wild?
Can you get twitchier, or do you just have twitch?
No, you can get twitch.
Okay.
Yeah, you can improve your twitch muscle.
It says the new rule will read 5.7. The official bat shall be constructed of wood, aluminum, or any other material or combination of materials. It must have a USSSA 1.15 BPF rating stamp or USA baseball stamp to be legal. Any bat that has been altered is illegal. Does that mean your black Diamond Cobra Sapphire bat is now illegal?
Yes, can confirm. Outlawed universally. So it goes back to the original conversation. Who's in the wrong? The team for using the illegal bat? The league for allowing the illegal bat? Or the other team for carrying?
Nobody at that point, I don't think, was wrong. If you use it now, the team using it would be wrong.
Correct.
But if it's
over under
I will
teams,
say this.
Over under 0.5 teams would still try to use it.
I'm not going to. I feel like the over the mountain area antennas have been raised on this bat, so I don't think they're going to even attempt to get away with it now.
I'm just glad that we have people to listen to the show.
Here's the weird part. When you sent me the name of the bat, I looked it up. Have you seen a picture of the bat?
I didn't know what the bat was. I didn't know the name of the bat until you asked me for the name of the bat, and I had to go and look it up and text a few buddies.
So there's like no markings on it. Like it's just. I mean, it literally looks like a guy made it in his garage. And so, it looks a little – the bat itself looks a little bit shady. Like somebody just made it. Of course
like
it
this
hits
bat is
hard.
hollow?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know that –
Things made out of dragon glass.
I'm not an engineer. Dragon glass. I'm not an engineer, and I don't know exactly how it all works. All I know is that bat, supposedly, everything is coming off pretty
Would you like
hot.
to sit and talk with us for a moment?
We can do one if you'd like.
Oh.
Look, you got a new whoop?
Commissioner
How'd
Sankey.
you get it? I ordered mine the first day, and you already have it? Wow.
What are we doing here?
You get a brand new – this is called radio.
Okay.
There still is FM radio going over the
quarter
airwaves.
zip.
You don't like this?
It does
No,
look good.
I just like, wow, the Mannings don't have one of those.
Cooper does. Cooper
That's
has
probably
one
true.
of those for
Yeah,
sure.
You got a cowboy hat.
This isn't Western enough for Cooper to wear, I don't think.
No, he'd put a bolo tie on top of the quarter zip. That's probably what he'd try to rock for sure.
How are things coming out of the meetings? I guess it's about a week ago.
Yeah, what's today? It was exactly a week ago. Yeah, we had 2 good days of meetings with our ADs. We were here in Birmingham. Pretty efficient. Talked about everything that's going on. College football playoff, our football schedule, settlement, women's basketball scheduling, our men's basketball success. How do we keep that going? There you go. There's a rundown.
If you're not familiar, SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey sitting down with us here at Greystone. Is it difficult to have a lot of these conversations because there are so many different wants, desires, needs? You can't go caretake for all of college athletics. You're the commissioner of the Southeastern Conference. So is it difficult to even have a lot of these conversations?
Here's some of the difficulty. One is, I'll go back to like 2008 or 9. We used to have coaches meetings. We go to Destin, for example. We don't want to recruit 7-on-7 teams. We want to be in high schools. So we'd have those conversations on Tuesday and Wednesday, and we take votes. We're going to keep 7-on-7 teams away. They can play, but they're not going to be in recruiting. And then you'd read an article on Saturday that a 7-on-7 team was visiting this campus. They were all over the place. So one of the difficulties is what you say in a room has to be what you live. And as we talk about settlement, overseeing, having a structure, you want kids to have opportunities. How do you do that in a way that supports equitable competition? So that's one. Second, I said this a couple weeks ago and everybody got mad, but anybody with a law degree and a Twitter account is seen as an expert. So there's a constant barrage of opinions. That doesn't mean they're right, but you have a platform, and our people react to that. The third one is sources say. Like, sources say. So something will come out of a meeting. So the ACC's meeting, so sources say, here's what was said. Well, that doesn't mean it's what was said, but you're dealing with all of these constant distractions, and you really have to just put that aside. Like, there's something called the D1 ticker that's a compilation of news from college athletics. It comes out in the morning and the afternoon. I don't read it. People send me excerpts, but it's just a distraction. It's that noise that our coaches talk about around you. So we're trying to focus on what's in front of us.
How different are the meetings between the coaches versus the athletic directors? Because I would think the meetings with the athletic directors are pretty level-headed, and the coaches comes from a kind of a loaded place in an effort to improve their situation. Is there some continuity between what you get with the athletic directors and presidents and the coaches?
We had an in-person meeting with coaches right after Valentine's Day, so the Sunday, Monday. Our coaches stayed an hour and a half beyond time. It was probably at the top of my coaches' meeting list. Just the willingness to talk in sophisticated ways about complex issues, to be more solution-oriented. You know, it's easy to complain. It's harder to solve and resolve issues. So that, and then we had our coaches and ADs together for the bulk of that second day. Really healthy conversation. So there's no verses. There was a together conversation. Then those surface issues, you know, our coaches are kind of front line on what's going on. Our athletics directors, compared to the conference office, are more front line. But the conversations are not dissimilar. Maybe the pressure points are different, and they raise the volume on certain points in a different way. But I think there's an intersection of thought.
One other thing I wanted to just kind of get your thoughts on, we'll let you run, is the importance of the roster spots moving ahead. It seems to be that that's something that's going to have to be put in place. Certain people want that. Then you hear coaches say, why are we doing this? Can you help for our listeners that may not fully understand why having set roster spots, specifically in football moving forward, needs to happen or has to happen?
We've lived under a scholarship limit with no kind of caps to rosters. This is involved in litigation, so I'll be intentional and careful what I'll say. But I'll begin with that there's litigation around scholarships, and in an effort to resolve that, the direction is we're going to have roster sizes that will allow more institutional decision-making. For instance, you talk about baseball for a second, or softball, and all the noise about equivalency scholarships. Why is it 11.7 in baseball? Well, that's part of the change. I think that's a responsible adaptation. Now, we're waiting for the judge to take input from what are called objectors. Then there's a response time this week to see if the implementation of the roster structure is accepted by the judge. And I think the judge wrote, and I'm not trying to advocate, I'm just synthesizing, that you can have a legally defensible roster structure approach, but the implementation was the problem. And so that'll create some more flexibility on the front end. But when you have change like we're having with an outflow of $20 million for institutional revenue sharing, there are going to be changes in personnel and support structures and maybe travel methods, and there are changes around roster decisions as well. That's really an economic reality.
Right. We appreciate you stopping by. We kind of grabbed you out of nowhere, so thanks for taking a little bit of time.
We ended on that one, huh?
We did.
Okay. Good to see you guys.
Well, Greg's behind you today, so be careful. Is all
I'll be
say.
hitting into
Just
us.
Be very careful.
Don't stand on the right.
He'll be sending a missile when the
Don't-
pace
Exactly.
of play is unacceptable.
Don't stand in the woods on the right. That's the only.
I've
that's
got
only
the same
advice I
problem.
give.
I've played 3 times this year, and I'm consistently chopping lumber coming out of the tree.
We have 2 former Alabama quarterbacks hitting into the former defensive coordinator that they practiced against. So I would be careful.
No,
there.
I
would
looked
be
at the
careful.
pairings list. I had a variety of thoughts about the pairings, but yeah, I've heard stories about how some of the shenanigans worked in practice.
We'll mess. Kirby might get a warning shot or two.
There's some.
I won't aim at you though. I
There's
promise.
some lingering
Absolutely.
memories that can be developed depending on pace of play and location on the course.
Thanks for
Okay,
stopping
thanks.
by.
Good to see
We
you guys. See you in a
appreciate
few
it. Yes,
weeks
sir.
in Atlanta, right?
Yeah,
Absolutely,
man.
yes, sir. A few weeks. Wow, that doesn't sound real.
Yeah, right.
Greg Sankey, commissioner of the Southeastern Conference, stopping by to say hello. I guess we should just go ahead now.
Rock and roll.
Yeah, let's just do it. Here, we'll stay with A.J. McCarron,
0.2 handicap.
the greatest Alabama quarterback of all
0.2
time.
handicap for you today. I saw 0.2 handicap.
I told you. It
God,
wasn't
I
real.
hope not.
Stick, baby. We got action.
He looked that up, and my response was, AJ doesn't take me a guy that cares that much about it. That would like keep up with it to that extreme.
No, I
Like,
just started because I'm scheduled to play in a couple money tournaments and with some buddies, and they were like, "Hey, you got to start keeping your gin." I didn't care enough. No, I'm not playing enough. I'm probably about a 8 right now.
I mean, I know you want to
5
win
to
when
an
you
8.
play. I'm not doubting that, but you just don't take me as the kind of guy that's like doing all the math after every round, turning in your
Doing your
scorecards
stats.
and like keeping up with
Well,
everything.
Strokes gained.
Exactly.
I just downloaded the app, so that tells you right there.
Yeah. Good. Hey, you know, this would be a perfect person for your Little League bat controversy conversation.
You got one. How old's your oldest?
8.
8. So you're second grade. That's the age group. Have you seen any of the, I guess, shenanigans? Is that an appropriate?
Do I need to look up the name of it again?
No, don't
Easton
look up the name.
Dub?
No, the Easton Dub's sweet.
Yeah.
That's the one that's pink and yellow.
Yeah.
That's a
Pink.
good one.
Yeah.
That's the one I would have liked to have
$500.
played with. Yeah, it's not.
We don't
cheap.
have that in our
They're
house,
proud of it.
believe it or
Yeah.
not.
But what's been your experience with Little League Baseball? We'll leave it open ended.
It's of course the parents just kind of ruin everything. I mean,
Get right into it.
if you let the kids just play. But yeah, we've gone from the teens facing, with the Black Emerald to now the Dub is like the hottest thing. But yeah, it's just parents that kind of ruin everything
The
about
Black Emerald is a bat, right?
Yeah.
Is that it? Yeah.
I haven't said it yet, so I'm not going to say it yet.
That's the bat.
That's the bat that
they're
just got
trying-
banned.
Yeah.
They got banned by everybody. Grand Slam, U-Trip, you name them all. 2D.
He's the one that got it banned.
That's not true. I didn't get it
No,
banned.
he had an hour conversation about it
It
on Friday.
was
I wasn't on the
honest.
show, and I'm not kidding, AJ. Then all this got going, and I got a guy sitting me that last night GBBA banned it now, so it's good
Yeah.
job, Greg.
Yeah.
It's banned
Don't
for
put
sure.
that on me.
It costs half as much as the Dub, so I'm not worried about the people wasting their money on
So
it.
you're trying to buy one. I get it.
If
I
it were
think-
not illegal,
I did have
I
someone-
told you I want my kid hitting with a crummy bat.
I did have one guy accuse
going
me of
wood.
we were just trying to kill the secondary market for the
That's it. Yeah,
for
all
the
the
bat
garage
so that
bats.
we could potentially get one. That was why it was. I'm like
That's
at
it.
a lower cost. So what's been going on, man? What's been up?
Nothing. Real estate. We started a real estate company about close to a year ago, and doing commercial. And I don't do anything.
Did you
but-
just lose one of your agents, by the way?
Did we?
Oh, I thought you had one go back into the UFL. Maybe he wasn't working for you.
Oh no.
Okay. Not bad. Sorry.
We had to send him off another way.
So he did lose one, but not to the
Not to the
UFL.
Yeah, he went to the UFL, but
Got it.
but no, he never showed up to work. So
What do y'all specialize in? What kind of real estate?
residential commercial is really what we do. So
Baldwin County, Mobile, or all over the place?
yeah, all over. our next move will be coming up to Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, but like we brought Topgolf into Mobile and done a couple of Buffalo Wild Wings and restaurants and stuff like that, but a lot of residential's taken off lately. So
I want to get your thoughts on what you saw from Alabama's offense last year and maybe where you think that could go year two. Now, Ryan Grubb's going to come back, but it's the same offense essentially. Not much is going to take a major shift. What are your expectations this year, and what do you think of what you saw last year?
Yeah, I think you were in a situation of not being able to run your true offense like you did with Grubb at Washington with Penix. Jalen's not Michael Penix, so I think the fact that you have a guy now that can spread it out, throw it a little bit more, and one of those three guys, I would think Ty is going to be the guy to get the nod. But and then finding a true run game, not just using your quarterback, and then having running backs lead block on QB power or draw or whatever. So I expect them to get back to what they were in Washington, spreading the ball out and throwing it more.
You still gonna be doing some media stuff though, even though now you're doing all the real estate stuff.
Yeah, I had all my talking points. Didn't get to go over them.
It's casual. You don't need to worry about that.
Yeah, we have actually a podcast coming out soon, so it's going to be announced next week. I might get in trouble for announcing it, I guess, a little bit.
Just don't say the name; you'll be good.
Yeah. But myself, Chris Stewart, and Trent Richardson. So
I was really hoping it was going to be you and Siski, by the way.
Yeah. Me and Siski have something in the works.
A lot
as well.
of trouble.
Yeah.
A lot of trouble on that one.
Yeah, but just doing that. That's with Sinclair Productions that did Mark Ingram and Urban Meyer's podcast. So excited about that.
It'll be great. It'll be really good. What do you look for in today's college football? Like, what do you like watching? Either a player, an offense, a scheme. Like, what kind of excites you when you see something? You're like, I want to watch these guys. I want to watch that group, see how they do.
I think for me, last year was Ohio State. Watching that receiving core was unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, I just like watching good players and good offenses. The game has changed so much since we've played. You hardly ever see anybody under center. I still love watching Kirby, and I mean he's true to his roots, and their offense is always pretty good. But that's the biggest thing for me, just watching good football.
Speaking of Kirby, you have a chance to hit into him today.
Yeah, he's in front of us.
Do you ever
is he?
Do you ever get like some flashbacks from scrimmages or practice and be like, you know what, I owe him one.
If he wasn't playing with Sankey, I'd buzz the tower for sure.
Not really. Kirby was always great to me. I love Kirby. I still hit him up and talk to him a good bit. But I mean, there would be some guys on the defense if they were playing in front of us. Yeah,
I can imagine
for sure.
Yeah.
Well, AJ, thanks for stopping by, man.
Of course.
Have fun today. Hit them straight. We're looking forward to the podcast.
Let's go win today.
Let's do it.
Let's go win,
dude. I
Wait,
can't
now
believe
it's a we now.
It's a team. We're all a team.
Yeah, we're a team.
I realize that all five of us keep a score, and we all get to take the best ball. So yes, we want to win.
Okay.
Put a tee in the ground to get a trophy, dude.
I can't believe my gen got turned in like that, because I definitely told them +8. So hopefully they don't take that.
I told him as soon as he said it, I was like, "There's no way."
I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's golfing it.
No.
That is golfing it."
No.
Been playing ball for a while, and it's now all of a sudden just switched right over to golf, and there's no problem whatsoever.
So
we'll get you back later. Maybe talk some UFL.
Yeah,
talk
let's do it.
some Battlehawks heading into the postseason. Get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, for sure.
Thanks, AJ.
Appreciate it.
AJ McCarron joining us live from Greystone. We'll get to a break. Come back. Auburn head coach Hugh Freesby with us next on Mac and Cube in the morning. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. Greg, quickly tell our listeners about Bromberg's.
Well, Bromberg's been great for a long time. 200 years they've been serving this community, nearly 200 years. They opened their doors for the first time back in the 1830s. It's just first-class experience that you get when you go into Bromberg's. You experience that sales staff. It's amazing. Go get a natural diamond right now. They're just so beautiful. They have so much inventory, and they'll give you a great deal, and they will also just give you a great experience. These are timeless gemstones that you want to make sure that you do right. You don't want to cut corners here. Go with a trusted brand like Bromberg's by going and checking out Bromberg's in Mountain Brook Village and at the Summit.
Hugh Freeze, Auburn head football coach, joining us now. Fresh off the range, right off the range. How were we hitting them today, Coach?
It was honestly, the irons were not too bad. I hadn't picked up the woods yet, but the irons were. I was hitting my little 5-yard baby cut that don't get in much trouble, so and fairly solid. Some of them were in the center of the face. Few.
Some
based on everybody else that's out here today, like people like Greg and Commissioner Sankey and other coaches. Do you feel like you got to step your game up? Do you feel more pressure?
I think I can take Sankey. Greg and I would be a really good match.
What about Dilfer?
Dilfer would be a really good match.
He can go.
Dilfer's a good player.
McElroy said you're the only person out here today that can compete with him.
I can take Kirby for sure. Is Kirby here today?
He's coming.
He will be at some point.
He's coming. He's teeing off at 8:20.
All right,
He makes him land in Shelby County
then.
instead of the real Birmingham Airport, so he takes the
They
different
asked me
route.
would I be nervous on the first tee or more nervous at the Iron Bowl, and I said at kickoff, and I said, oh, definitely Iron Bowl because I don't hit it hard enough
To cause any
to really
damage.
cause any damage. If I hit it, I mean, my tee shot's usually going to be somewhere in one of the roughs with a little baby fade, so it's not going. Now Kirby, on the other hand, could kill somebody. I mean,
He
'cause
swings hard.
Yeah, he
He swings hard at
that
it.
ball comes off his club, and sometimes it goes dead left. So they need to be careful when he's hitting.
I'll say this. I feel like this is always that first tee shot's always a little nerve-wracking, though. I mean,
Yeah.
I get nervous on the first tee. I don't usually get nervous in golf because it's like we're outside.
Yeah.
We're having fun.
Right.
But I get nervous on the first tee here. I don't know why. It's like 40 people watching, but it just feels a little
I may tee it
exciting.
low and choke down and just hit the run and cut.
See, you have that shot.
Yeah.
I don't have that shot. Just a controlled fairway finder? No,
Yeah.
I don't have that one.
I didn't have that when I played either. One thing you do have now, Coach, is a quarterback with a lot of talent. I'm very interested to hear just how things are going with Jackson Arnold, what you've seen from him. We've heard some comments from him about, maybe skipping the Manning Academy because he wants to spend more time with his guys and been putting in the work, been at the facility. What have you noticed? What have you seen? What are your takeaways so far?
Yeah, I'm really pleased with the spring. His approach is, I think he gained great confidence. Having the receiver room we have, I think, added value to that to him. I think he, and again, I don't ever cast judgment on until you walk in other people's shoes, but he dealt with a lot. He didn't have any the receivers were hurt, and his old line was hurt, and 3 different coordinators, and I just think he was in a bad. He didn't have the juice, that swagger, the confidence that you saw being the Gatorade High School Player of the Year coming out of high school, and I think we saw some of that being restored this spring, and how much I love Archie Manning. I mean, Archie Manning and Mike Glenn hired me at Ole Miss, and so I'm dear to them, and so that was I had to call Archie and say, look, I got to support. Jackson wants to be here. He's been there, and I think it's just another step that he's saying, man, I want to lead this team, and I think our quarterback room is, truthfully, obviously he's in the lead seat, but I'm excited about Deuce and Ashton. I think we've got a solid quarterback room when you look at the comparison to the league. But Jackson's thought he took great strides. Needs to protect the ball a little more. He started he did really well at first, and then I think he started thinking, well, heck, Cam and Horatio and Malcolm and Singleton, heck, just throw it. They're going to make it.
Yeah.
And I said, you just there's times to do that, but so just got to make sure he stays within himself. I don't think he has to do miraculous things. just play within the system.
We talked to you last year. I looked at some of the notes, knowing that we'd have a chance to visit today. And you talked about this last year and keeping Peyton Thorne as a guy and not maybe making quarterback a priority. You wanted to make sure the pieces around the quarterback were the priority. You've now done that, though, and tenfold now with the addition of Singleton and some of the other guys in the portal this year. So looking at the supporting cast, that whoever the quarterback ends up, whether it's Jackson or one of the other two, how much better is the supporting cast this year when compared to a year ago?
Well, I think you start with those two tackles too.
Those O-line just
Xavier
as much.
and Mason that we brought in. It allows us to move Dylan Wade inside. And Jeremiah Wright's back. I think Connor Liu is an all-SEC performer. And so I think, and we get Tuttle back. So now you have three legit tackles that have played, significant snaps. So everybody talks about, obviously, the receiver room, which I think will be one of the better ones in the country. I think running back, we're good. I don't know about elite. And tight end, I think we're solid. But I think we're in a position where we can play more 10 personnel, too, this year, which I haven't done much of in a while since Ole Miss, truthfully. But I do think the supporting cast is we've got a little depth and excited about what we saw there for sure.
I want to ask you if you think this could be a benefit to Jackson Arnold, Coach, and it's something that I never considered. And Greg and I were just having conversation about him and some other quarterbacks one day, and we talked about the situation that you brought up. And offensive linemen dinged up. I think they went through their top 6 receivers that were out. Running backs were dinged up. A coordinator that had not coached quarterbacks before, and we both love Seth, but that was just another thing kind of working against him. And Greg brought up his head coach, and not saying anything bad about him, anything like that. He said, what y'all don't understand sometimes is playing quarterback for a defensive-minded head coach is hard. And he said the message is never attack, go get, have fun, let it rip. The message is don't screw it up, man. Hey, don't mess this up. Hey, whatever you do, don't. And I started thinking about you and Lincoln Riley and Steve Sarkisian and Lane Kiffin. I thought to myself, those guys would never say that.
Well, I let it get away a little bit for me last year. I won't again. Maybe the last 2 years. And these defensive coordinators, and I know Venable's a great one, and they want to win, but I'm going to tell you, I don't believe there's any more important factor of practice than your quarterback leaving confident, period. And I will make
refreshing.
I will make sure that, quit doing all that stuff that we're installing, and we're not prepared for that, and it makes him feel unprotected. And so we're going to be the quarterback needs to leave practice very confident. That is, I believe that wholeheartedly. I'm sure I'm not the one that originated that. I got it from somewhere, but we're going to make sure fall camp is, there'll be a time for dirty ball and do what you want to do and all that. Right. But right now, that quarterback needs to feel confident.
That's a great point. Thanks for stopping by. Always great to see you, Coach.
You too,
we really
guys.
Appreciate it. Hit him straight today.
All right, man. Thank y'all.
Make Greg look bad.
Play well, but not too well.
See you.
All right, that's Hugh Freeze, Auburn head football coach, joining us here live from Greystone, the region's tradition. And he'll be on the course today with McElroy, trying to hit him straight, trying to get it done. And it's been a busy first hour. We'll continue up in the next hour. Kurt, you know that the hat doesn't work when it's mesh on the top and you're bald. It doesn't protect the head. Yeah, there you go. Got to give Kirk Sampson a hard time always.
He looks good.
He does. Looks great.
He looks really good.
We heard from Greg Sankey. We heard from A.J. McCarron. We heard from – who else has stopped by the show so far today? I think that's
Greg
it.
Sankey, A.J. McCarron, Coach Freeze.
And Hugh Freeze right there. Just stopped by with us. Still waiting on Bo Jackson to find out if the hiccups are cured. We don't
That's
what
we need to figure out, isn't it?
Yet. We'll try to get that done. Kirby Smart should be with us next hour. Nick Saban, Kalen DeBoer, Charles Barkley. So it'll be entertaining. It'll be informative. It'll be fun. You're going to go hit some balls?
Just for a second.
Okay, cool. I'll do the radio show. Don't worry about it. Wednesday, May 14th, live from the Regents Tradition here at Greystone. It's going to be a fun second hour. It's been a great first hour. I'll tell you about Game Day Men's Health quickly before we go off to break. If you are lacking energy, if you're not getting good sleep, if you feel on edge, Game Day Men's Health wants to help you. A lot of different ways they can do it. Just go to GameDayMen'sHealth.com right now, set up a free consultation. You get the free PSA test, free testosterone test. They're going to give you a baseline of where your health is. then they're going to give you the different options that they have in which they can help you. Locker room environment, no stress, great people. They have weight loss programs. They have testosterone replacement, other ways. The new peptides that they have in stock can help get you back to normal as well and feel better than ever. Holistic approach to health and wellness. Go to GameDayMen'sHealth.com today. That's GameDayMen'sHealth.com and sign up for your free consultation. Nate Oates is a maybe. I saw him a second ago. I don't know if he's coming by or not. Kirby Smart, Nick Saban, Kalen DeBoer, Charles Barkley, all still set to shop by the show. Talk a little bit of golf today, talk some Pro-Am, and talk some college football, hopefully. A lot of college football news from yesterday that we haven't even gotten to yet. ACC meetings happening. We have some audio from that we'll get to a little bit later in the show. All that and more here for the next 2 hours live from the Regions Tradition at Greystone. Next on McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. Welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. Live from the Regions Tradition. Greg has completely bailed on the show. Going full golf mode now. Don't think he cares at all about doing radio the rest of the day. He is stimp meters, drivers, irons, how the fairways are rolling, how the greens are going. Kirby Smart going to stop by, though. Georgia head football coach. Talk to him for just a moment. Hey, Coach, how you doing? Good to see you. Greg is in full golf mode now, so he quit on the show.
That's typical of Greg. You know what I mean? He doesn't have his priorities in order.
Absolutely. I like the shirt though, kind of a little throwback, little vintage Georgia golf shirt.
Oh, that's what happens when you get fat, man. You got to get it more buttons. Pocket every now and then. It attracts attention off the lower half.
I need to take that advice.
You wouldn't know that because you're a skinny guy now.
That's not true. I could prove you wrong on that. Hey, I heard some audio from.
No, he comes back over here trying to act like
he's y'all are best friends all of a sudden.
Exactly.
Hey, coach.
He wants to go hit balls, and he's like, "Oh, I can't do it no more. I don't have it." Trying to keep that thing to a plus.
Yeah.
Coach,
what is your handicap right now?
Mine's 12.
Oh my God! Oh.
And mine's legit, Greg.
With 185 mile an hour ball speed.
Yeah, going the wrong direction.
It works against you when it's not going the right way.
Amen.
Well, it's good to see you, man.
Good to see y'all, man.
Got to see you, 5 times last year, thereabouts?
Was it 5? Golly.
I think it was.
Oh, was that many?
Yeah.
It was a lot.
It was a bunch.
I don't think I've seen you in 5 years.
I was going to say.
I hadn't had one of your games in a while.
I see you on
That's because
TV.
we called dibs. I want to go see Kirby. I want to go to Athens, baby.
He goes and gets the big games. They stuck us in all of them last year, that's for sure.
Oh, here we go. Already going there. He's in the group. You're going to be with him today, too. You're going to let him hear about that?
Who?
The commissioner.
Oh, I don't know that he had any control over that. I think he delegates that out. He lets somebody else chop those things up and try to figure out what's fair.
Did you guys really feel that later in the year? Because, you looked pretty good in Atlanta. Now you were beat up. You had a lot of different guys playing. But
So did they. Their tackle was out. We had guys out. I think everybody in the country has that. It's just the way it is. You're thinner now. The drop-off is greater between you lose one starter and it's like, whoa, because most of the guys that were backups were gone in the portal.
Does that mean more reps for younger guys earlier in practice?
Yep.
Try to definitively get more guys in games earlier? How are you trying to manage that?
Both. You got to have your young guys ready. I told our staff one of the most critical things we can do in spring is get the 33 newbies, which that could be a freshman, that could be a portal, but there's 33 new guys that are going to be in our depth chart somewhere, and we don't know which one we're counting on. So how do we get those 33 guys ready faster than our opponents?
What do you think you learned from last year with it being a totally new structure, obviously some new opponents playing against Texas and playing them twice?
Oh.
What do you think you've learned and will be able to carry over from last year's experience?
It's a grueling experience. It's
Yeah.
longer than I remember it being, mainly because you have that lingering playoff long run where there's not this big layoff. So it's just different than it's ever been. You have to anticipate a longer season than we've ever had before. More games.
Yeah, but what about, is it changing how you practice? Is it changing fall camp? Does it change anything structurally within your program and how you prepare?
I think our numbers would change that. We didn't change a lot last year, but as our numbers dwindle and we get closer to this 105 marker, it's going to be a challenge to practice different, smarter, just somewhere a balance between what does an NFL team do that doesn't get many days in training camp versus what did we used to do when we had it really grueling every day, 2-a-day. So we're trying to find that balance in the middle.
I want to get your thoughts a little bit further on the GM role. Greg and I talked about it yesterday. We had Jake Trotter on, wrote an article about it, and I brought you up and I said, because it seems like the GM role is different in a lot of different places.
It's very different.
And you came out and said, I run my team.
Right.
I find my talent. I tell guys what to do within my staff, and it makes sense when you hear you say that.
Right.
Is there – just take us further into your philosophy of maybe not needing that, not wanting that.
It's not that we don't want or need. There's a difference, okay? So some people want to delegate and not be in charge of that. We have people in GM roles, what I define as a GM role. If you're talking about evaluating talent and watching talent in the portal on other people's rosters that might go in the portal, potential, or the guys in high school, we have that. That's what a GM does. Like we have people that do that.
Sure.
I don't want a GM tag to say, okay, well, this guy's going to just go and be the negotiator. He's going to go and close the deal and sign the deal. It's still a relationship business for us. If we were drafting and we could go across the state and say, okay, this is our draft pick, I think a GM role is really, really important. But when you have to have a relationship with somebody, how does that GM have a relationship with somebody when they have been watching tape? They're not spending time with them. Most of those GMs that are true GMs, they don't want to recruit. They don't want to have a relationship. They came from NFL because they weren't doing those things. So they become transactional. And look, we find our niche in our culture, which is relational and trying to have a relationship with somebody. We have people that do GM jobs. We don't sit here and say, well, Coach Smart does everything. I can't do everything. We have people that talk numbers. We have people that do different things.
Sure.
We just don't have somebody that's making the ultimate decision because that guy doesn't know the market sometimes. He's trying to figure the market out. The NFL, the GM knows the market because it's set. So a guy walks into Oklahoma, let's say, and he's the GM. That's great. That's awesome. But he may not know the entire structure and market that's out there, and you may overpay. You may not have a chance to get somebody.
Yeah, I would imagine it's pretty difficult to kind of jump in with, a little wet behind the ears and trying to figure that out. Help me understand what's going on with the quarterback competition, how you want that thing to kind of play itself out. I know perfect world, guy emerges, wins the team, and you're good to go. But in the event in which that thing lingers, how would you like to handle it?
Well, for me, it's about who plays the best, who gives the best chance to win. We've got a young kid coming up that has not had many real reps. He didn't go through spring last year. This was his first real spring in Puglisi. He's coming up, getting better. We got 2 young guys. Then we've got a guy that now has some experience. He got to play in an SEC championship and a playoff game. So those 2 experiences for him were tremendous. And then you've got Puglisi, who's really talented and coming up. So I'm excited about those guys.
I'll tell you what, Gunnar showed me a lot in that game. He made some plays in that game that will be lost and forgotten, but deep throw down on the big post. That guy's a baller. He's got some baller qualities. I know he's not necessarily going to be formally announced as your guy or anything by any stretch, but man, he's got some game in Puglisi. Could throw it, and I don't know the young kid.
It's what we believe is the process of growing kids up and getting them better. And he's been in the program for a while now. Puglisi's in those same footsteps, and he gets a chance to compete.
You mentioned the relationship part earlier, Coach. I heard some clips from Fran Brown at ACC meetings yesterday, and it sounded a lot like somebody who would be with you for a long time. And he was just talking about, hey, this kid left and went somewhere else, but I'm still helping him move. I'm still trying to help him get his bills paid here. Had another guy's going to play somewhere else. He said, hey, I was financial, and that's fine. He got more, go, have it. But he's like, but I got to keep those relationships intact. I think there's a lot of the college football world that feels like that part's just gone now. Right. That it is all transactional. How important is it to you to keep those relationships going the way that it always has?
Well, if there's no relationships, then what are we doing this for? There's no purpose in doing this. I still want to see kids going to become better husbands, fathers. Everybody thinks it's just win, win, win. I have relationships with every kid that has played at Georgia. I want it to be that way forever. Nick still talks to every kid that played at Alabama that needs something. They reach out to him. That's why we do what we do, to help these young men through it. So that's a big part of if it was going to be just transactional, then people should be in the National Football League, but that's all they want to do.
Coach, my final question is kind of what you want to see improved from last year. I know injuries made it hard to find the continuity all throughout the year. But I know talking to you, hey, these are our priorities going into certain games, and then those things never really materialize. So what would you like to do better from a year ago?
Well, Greg, if I had to pinpoint all those, we'd be here for a long time. There's a long list of things we can improve on. But number one, we got to stop the run better, and we got to run the ball better.
Yeah.
And if you do those 2 things, you're also going to help yourself on third down, because we weren't where you needed to be on third down, but those problems came from first and second.
Coach, we appreciate you stopping by, spending some time with us. Watch your back.
No doubt.
AJ and Greg behind you today. So
they'll be all right.
They can hit into us.
Be careful.
Because they're long hitters.
It's payback from all that 9-on-7 and half-line pass. I'm going to come get them.
Great to see you. Kirby Smart, Georgia head football coach, joining us here live at the Regions Tradition from Greystone. Getting ready to go tee off. Charles next. Barkley coming up next, maybe. Potentially get him over here. We got Kirby Smart, or we got Nick Saban. We've got Kalen DeBoer. Kalen's going to make people give the wind up a lot today because he's so nice with his time.
He's so.
He's got people just
I saw him a second ago.
Sitting there just cranking him
around
up the whole time.
I saw him a second ago.
Go.
Around the, I guess you would call it like the mosh pit of press over there. Is that an appropriate description of?
Yeah, I think that's sort of like the press center, or I guess like the interview wall.
Yes, the interview wall is kind of the hub of press cameras and reporters and things like that. And it was kind of amazing. Kalen was just kind of standing off to the side, just meandering, waiting for his turn. Like he's just standing there and, just casually kind of looked actually like he was in the media for a second. He's just kind of standing in the group. It was different. He's a special person, man. He really is.
And tell our listeners about Polar Bear Services. They're special also.
They are. I've been using Polar Bear Services for a long time. I've always had a great experience. Wes and the guys do a great job. They go above and beyond in making sure that your services are needed and met. And it's kind of amazing just how much they can do. I call them for plumbing challenges. I've called them for electric issues, small appliance repair. They do all those things, but they specialize in the HVAC system. And as things are starting to get warmer here in the great state of Alabama, here coming up in a couple days, we got 88 degrees on Thursday. So we know it's going to be warm. We know it's going to be hot, and the 100-degree days are coming very, very soon. So if you have a problem with your electrical, plumbing, heat, or air, just pick up the phone and call the Bears. 205-497-BEAR. That's 497-BEAR.
All right, are you leaving now? You're going to play?
I'm going to go hit a couple drivers, and then should be good.
One more
loose.
segment, and then you go hit. Then you get tee off.
Yeah, I mean, I go when I'm called. I think I'm okay for now.
Okay.
But I do
a
want
lot
to
of
hit
people coming down the hill right now. So
I do want to hit a
support
couple
them.
drivers, though,
Okay, well,
just to send a message.
Go do that and send the messages, and we'll be back with more right after this. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning, live from the Regions Tradition at Greystone. 8:14, Wednesday, the 14th of May. Jocks 94.5, listen online, jocksfm.com. App is in your app store, iPhone, Android. You can download that for free. Always listen on the go and tell your home smart speaker to enable the Jock skill. I think that dude lives down the street from me.
Really?
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
I should probably go introduce myself, but that'd be if I was a nice person.
Was he the person leaving poop in the front yard?
Absolutely not.
No.
No, not. Actually, we had one yesterday on the sidewalk again.
No.
Which I got those people, like, you deserve harm when you do that. Yeah, you deserve to be harmed.
Wow.
When you let your dog poop on a sidewalk that children are riding their bikes on and kids are walking down and other people are walking their dogs, like, you deserve to be hurt.
That's it.
I don't have
That's
another.
the one.
I hope you stub your toe and trip and fall and break a tooth. Kaylin DeBoer, head coach of the Alabama Crimson Tide, hopping on with us now. Coach, how you doing?
No warm-up swings for you?
Oh, no,
I just hit a
been out
couple.
there grinding.
Oh, you did?
I was
Okay.
out there in the Davis Love section, just had to hit a couple drivers. Coach, I can't show and go anymore. Like, used to be able to do that. I'll hurt myself.
Coach,
now.
he was here at 6 a.m. hitting. I walked past him, and he was like, I've been on the range. Where are we located?
Dew sweeping.
I
That was
love
it.
it.
He's
I
been
love it.
grinding.
It's good to see you guys.
Great to see you as well.
Yeah.
How's the offseason been so far?
It's good. Coaches are on the road, just grinding, and there's responsibilities everyone has in the office. And those guys are getting the job done. Looking forward to a great June with the recruiting. We got official visits here soon.
Isn't that wild?
It is.
It's
It's just the last 2 years. It's just ramped up.
Yeah.
We did it a few years ago, and then last year went to another level with the number of official visits, and really with the cap of guys that you can bring in, unlimited almost. It's just amazing how many guys we're going to have come through campus for officials here in June. So
I can't even keep up with your calendar. I talked to a couple assistant coaches last week, and they're like, "Yeah, we're just on the road." I was like, oh, "You just finished spring ball. Like, what? You guys are
And they can
recruiting
do
now?
home
Like,
visit.
what?"
They can do home visits now too. So that's an added element. It used to be evaluation period, so there's actually contact guys can have, and that's those are laid out. Those are late nights, and trying to get to the next city, next place, the next morning for early morning workouts. So I appreciate our staff, and I know they're working really hard to get.
We
that
talk about
going.
this. We talk about this GM role. Who is the person in your facility, like you just said? So contact allowed here. Who is the person that makes sure you and your staff are aware of all these like minute recruiting details, NCAA rules of? All right, guys, now you can text kids. All right, guys, starting Monday, you can actually have a phone call with a guy. Like, who manages all that?
Yeah, there's really our Courtney Morgan, our GM, and then Bob Welton, our director of player personnel. And you're always working with compliance, Riley Edwards there, and so just making sure we're on the same page. And we're always ahead of it, usually months in advance, kind of talking about, because these plans of where these guys were going to go for 4 weeks straight, pretty much, on the road with the contact period, were put in place, in late March, early April.
Yeah.
A lot of that kind of figure, because there's flights involved.
Sure.
There's all these visits. You got to identify which ones. You got to be efficient. So a lot of that's in place, and you're working way ahead. But yeah, those are the key point guys.
Looking at where you were last year and having the conversation with you here, and now fast forwarding a year, I mean, it's hard to kind of fully comprehend what comes with being the head coach at Alabama until you lived it. And now you've done it, and I think there were a lot of really positive moments in year number one. So how much more comfortable are you today leading this program and knowing what to expect than you were maybe a year ago, kind of with battling some of the unknowns?
Yeah, I mean, the schedule that we're talking about. Kind of what's next and what you got to have ready to go for summer workouts. All that stuff's the same, right? And so a lot of it is now just familiarity with, the teams in the league. I mean, you know who they are, their logos and stuff, but I'm talking about the details. I mean,
Yeah.
the guys that then give you tough matchups,
Yeah,
a couple
right.
things here and there. It's not like you're seeing schemes you've never seen before, but who really hangs their hat on what in those big moments. And, for us, a lot of it is also just continuity. And the staff continuity is huge, which, again, that led to really continuity within our roster. And now we have experiences that we've all been together through. You're
Yeah.
trying to teach off of last year, maybe some things that those guys went through in 2023 that you saw on film,
Sure.
or you're trying to bring the experiences you've been through personally. But it just means so much more, and you're trying to get that message through, but it means so much more when you've been in that fire together, and now you can talk about how you either overcame or how you fell short and where we gotta improve.
Kalen DeBoer, Alabama head coach, with us at the Regions Tradition. We have been very fortunate being radio talk show hosts the last couple off seasons of just nonstop everything that we can talk about. And I think sometimes we miss things that we should be talking about. You had a lot of buzz with your team with the quarterback situation in the spring. I believe you have a top 5 player in college football on your roster. Nobody's talking about Ryan Williams. Well, seriously, when have we talked about him this offseason? Like it's just like he doesn't exist, and I think he's a top 5 player in the country. What kind of offseason has he had? What more can you do for him? And now that you got Coach Grubb and you guys are going to have a full offseason prepared to have a guy like him. I mean, you had a Dunze and a couple other great ones at Washington. You've had great receivers everywhere, but what can we expect, and where is he compared to maybe was a year ago when you first met him?
Well, once he turned 18, everyone kind of forgot about him. Huh?
There you go.
Yeah.
We couldn't say that anymore, so it's not a fun conversation.
Yeah,
I mean, that's no
that
fun
story
now.
wasn't pressed at all.
I mean, here's the thing with Ryan. Unfortunately, at the end of spring ball, he suffered a little bit of a ding, and he'll be fine. He'll be ready to roll here this summer. But he, going back all the way to the month of January, and just kind of him understanding, even from last season, where he needed to get better. It's being stronger, right? He's just younger, and so the body maturing, and then him putting the work in and just being stronger, more durable, those type of things. He's got those instinctual things, but also the leadership piece is just something I'm really proud of with how he's tried to continue to grow. We have a lot of good leaders, so he's a part of that. It's not like he's singled ahead of and above the whole team or anything, but I think we've really paved the way, starting with his room, to where he and Germ can really feel comfortable leading. They're the guys that are returning with the most production, but he's done an awesome job. Just not afraid to say what he thinks. I tell the guys never walk away, have regrets on speaking your mind, because I do trust them. And he's got a spring now. Last year he didn't have a spring. He came in the summer. It's so impressive what he did in just a short amount of time.
Absolutely.
To get ready to play in August or September. But he's had a spring now. There's still timing. I know we got the quarterback situation and all that, figuring that out and who you should be working with. But he's all about the work, and he knows how to manage, I think, on another level, all the extra stuff that surrounds a guy that's a high-profile person like him. I think, we continue to work with him to manage. How can we help you manage all that? Because it's got to be a village of people, not just on him.
Yeah, and finally, before we get you out of here, the quarterback situation. I know that the fact that all three are still here gives the impression that they're all real pleased with the amount of reps they got, the opportunities they got in the spring, which I think is fantastic. But as you approach the season, that week one opponent against Florida State, how do you anticipate kind of divvying up the reps throughout fall camp to make sure, all right, hey, we're giving everyone a shot, but we got to start to hone in and get ready to play?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think they all felt like there was growth that they had. They all felt that they were getting a fair shake at it in their own way. Keelan comes in. You just don't all of a sudden throw him in there at the once. He just,
what do you mean? I thought it was right now, day one.
But he did, as camp went on,
Yeah.
or spring went on, did get to earn the opportunity to get some reps with those guys. And they all had their moments, and there was some consistency that you can look at throughout the spring. But there's also areas where they dropped off, and that's the challenge, right, is to find out who can be the most consistent. There comes a point in fall camp, a couple weeks in for sure.
Yeah.
It's kind of been consistent with how we've done things in the past, where you got to make that decision because you got to roll. The one thing I think that a competition does, it puts a lot of pressure on them.
Sure.
And that pressure is as much as the pressure of, honestly, when you get out there on the football field.
Yeah.
Because it's on them. And
Right.
so I've seen sometimes the pressure kind of come off of them.
Right.
And then, it helps prepare them for the pressure that comes along with the season or a particular game or a moment within the game. So, these guys are all doing a great job. They all support each other in a healthy way. That's a competition, of course, and they know that, and they all want to be the guy, come this fall.
Thanks for hanging out with us. We need to get down there and watch some film, hang out with you.
You're welcome anytime.
Greg and I come down there and do that. It'd be a lot of fun.
No tight copy, only wide. We're not watching no line.
I'm not watching all 22.
I'll let you guys fight over that.
Waste of time.
We get the clicker.
Thank you, Coach.
Yeah,
Appreciate
thank you
it.
guys. Yeah, appreciate it.
Kalen DeBoer, Alabama head football coach, stopping by here at the Regions Tradition. Gracious with his time as always, and always fun to catch up with him, talk to him, and get a few things in on Alabama football.
We're getting the call. 8:30 tee time to the first tee.
All right, go do your thing. Good luck
I
today.
need to go. See,
Hit
I'm
him
getting
straight.
the hook. So I'm just telling you, I'm getting the hook.
I can do radio without you. I know that sounds difficult.
Don't
but
get
I
any
can
bats
handle
canceled today.
it. I might. I'm just going to start looking up bats to get canceled.
Just go get the Easton Dub next because it's too cool and too expensive, so we just need it a little cheaper.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I got too many people using that one for me to say that. I'm not going to do that. So we are on right now. Yes, I'm sorry. It's okay. All right, 8:24. We'll take a break. Come back with hopefully Nick Saban, Charles Barkley, the rest of this hour right here from the Regions Tradition at Greystone. It's all good. You should know we're not going to ask. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. Kalen DeBoer on the practice range, getting set to start his round. Apparently Nick Saban not on property yet, so running behind, which, as we can imagine, probably not going to go over well with him or the folks around him, which means he may not make the show. Charles Barkley still set to stop by here at the Regions Tradition at Greystone. It's going to be a fun day, fun weekend. If you guys have a chance to get out, come check it out, come watch, see the celebrities, see some of these golfers that you're going to recognize their names. You're going to know what they're all about. And just a cool place to hang out at for the entire weekend. Come bring the kids, watch some good golf, and just have a good time. A couple other things taking place in the world of sports yesterday. OKC takes down Denver last night, 112-105. Jokic goes for 44 and 15, but not enough as OKC takes a 3-2 lead in that series. Indiana 114-105 over Cleveland. They take the series 4-1, so the Pacers will move on. Halliburton 31. Donovan Mitchell goes for 35 last night. Not enough as the Cavs are eliminated from the NBA playoffs. Tonight, you will get Knicks Celtics at 6 o'clock on TNT, True TV, or Max. New York leads that series 3-1. I think that thing's over tonight. And then at 8:30, you will get Golden State, Minnesota. Minnesota surprisingly leading that series 3-1. In college football, some portal news. App State's going to get Michigan quarterback Jaden McBurrows. So App State slowly putting together a pretty good roster. You lose Joey Aguilar to the portal early this offseason, and he goes out to UCLA, now heading to Tennessee. But you put a couple of players now in there for a first-year head coach that may be able to make them a little bit more competitive. Baylor is going to get wide receiver Lewis Brown IV. San Diego State, Colorado State, but that's one that Auburn's going to see week one, as we visited with Hugh Freeze a little bit earlier in the show, and I want to revisit a couple of things that he said, a couple of things that Kirby Smart said also. It's been a little bit more time on those. UCLA is going to get quarterback Pierce Clarkson from Ole Miss, also Louisville. But a quarterback with experience now going to head out to UCLA. Obviously, that's going to be more of a backup role as your numbers were down when Aguilar left, and he'll compete with Nico Iamaleava. Madden Iamaleava has officially now signed with UCLA also, so that one is in the books. We spoke to Hugh Freeze a little bit earlier, and he mentioned a couple of things that I thought was interesting. Just first talking about Jackson Arnold and his approach and this sort of off-season discovery mentality that we have, I guess, accidentally found after talking about this with McElroy a few times, basically saying the difficulties that come with playing quarterback for a defensive-minded head coach, something that we had not thought a lot about, something that we had not discussed a whole lot, and Greg kind of laid it out for us as, hey, man, like when you're playing quarterback for a defensive-minded head coach, the messaging is usually don't screw it up, don't mess it up, don't make the big mistake, protect the football, make sure we don't get things done the right way. And when you go play for an offensive coach, you can imagine it's never like that. There's no, like, we asked Hugh Freeze as he sat here, and he's like, no, I'm never going to approach a guy like that, like, don't mess it up. It's going to be attack, go get it, find this opening. And as Hugh Freeze laid out for us on the show, basically build up that confidence. And Coach Freeze told us it's a mistake it's a trap that I kind of fell into last year with my guy, and that was not going out and making sure that my quarterback left practice confident every single day. And he kind of vowed to do that on the show today, saying that there's one thing that I'll do next year, my quarterback will leave practice confident every day. That's going to be one of the things at the top of my list. That's going to be one thing that I make sure that we take care of and that we get done. So I just thought it was interesting to hear Hugh Freeze say that, because it validates a little bit of what Greg was saying. It validates a little bit of that mindset that Greg said does kind of creep into you when that's who you are, a quarterback for a defensive-minded head football coach, and then also how that can change. Is that something that helps Jackson Arnold sort of rewire things? Does it help Jackson Arnold maybe reprogram himself to be that confident quarterback? And I'll say this. I actually like a little bit of what Hugh Freeze said, that maybe Jackson Arnold took that a little bit too far later in spring by saying, hey, you're going a little bit down the path too far here. Like, don't try to squeeze it into that hole. So he got kind of a little bit overconfident with some of the wide receivers. Yeah, I saw him. It's fine. I don't know if they're going to be able to bring him by, but it's okay. Just don't really know for certain if they're going to be able to be able to make that happen the way that it did. And you've got a great group of receivers. You've got a room you're confident in. And even though Coach Freeze said that maybe Jackson Arnold got a little bit loose with that later in the spring, I actually kind of like hearing that, because what's the number one complaint that we had about Jackson Arnold last year? You guys have heard me say it. You've heard Greg say it. The young man could not let go of the football. And to be able to get the ball out on time, get the ball out in a confident manner, all things that are going to be important, all things that are going to happen if Jackson Arnold is going to be a successful quarterback in the Southeastern Conference this year. So, I mean, listen, he's got the tools. He's got the ability. He absolutely can go out there and make every throw. He can break you down with his legs. Got to protect the football. And there are two aspects to that. Well, multiple aspects to that. I think the first thing that we look at is don't throw the ball to the other team. But I think holding on to the ball in the pocket also really important. And something that Jackson Arnold had probably more of an issue with than throwing the ball to the other team last year is just being loose with managing the football and holding on to the football. So those are things that he's got to do. But I liked hearing Coach Freeze say, I had to rein him back in a little bit towards the end of spring ball. It tells me some of his confidence is coming back, some of the awareness of what he has. Like, he wants to go attack. He wants to try to take advantage of having big play receivers on his roster. And I think that can be a real plus for his mentality, can be a real plus for his game, and a real plus for where he's going. So I think Barkley's going to hop on the show here in just a minute. I'm going to go ahead and get to a break so when he does hop on, we have time to visit with him. And we'll do that next right here on McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. Charles Barkley, the legend, stopping by. Interesting little chair warm up there. Like
Yeah, man.
swinging the chair and going. Well,
Well, since I'm gonna tee off soon, I got to get loose any way possible. Getting old is not for the weak.
Do you take this as serious as a lot of these guys? Do you take it more serious than you used to? It used to just be fun,
No,
and then
hell no. Man, I worked at 2 in the morning, went to a bar and got drunk, went straight to the airport at 6, gonna play golf all day, then go back and be on TV tonight. I don't take anything that serious.
Are any of these teams you really enjoy watching right now? Indiana wraps up the series last night.
That was I like watching them play.
Yeah.
I was surprised they beat Cleveland that easy. The game we had last night, OKC against Denver was classic. Man, I said it last night. Even though they didn't win the game, if you don't like the Joker, it's just something wrong with you as a
so
human
much fun
being.
to watch, man.
I mean, this guy, he's just ridiculous. So, but we get to the point now where you get down to the final 4 teams. It's pretty impressive because you play sports before. You put all your in the middle of the summer, you're running sprints and running long distance and lifting weights. Then the season starts and it's like 6 or 7 months. You put all your time and effort into trying to win, and when you right at the finish line, you're like, damn, all those wind sprints and all that weightlifting was worth it. And then you hope you can finish the journey. And it's hard to finish the journey, but it's like 8 months of your life. And like Cleveland, they came crashing down last night. They had the best record in the NBA all year, and then it's over. So it's always fun this time of the year.
Is OKC the best team left?
I'm picking them to win the championship. Yeah. I've said it before. I'm not just saying this on your show, but I think they're the best team.
How did that thing come together so fast?
Man, that guy knows what he's doing. They had the best record in the NBA last year, but they had some weaknesses. He went out and got Hartenstein and Caruso because Chet Holmgren, he's just a little light in the ass. You see Joker just be bullying him. So that happened last year in the playoffs. So they went out and got Hartenstein, and they went out and got Caruso to get another wing guy who can play guard 1, 2, 3. So Sam Presti, who's right up there with Masai Ujiri, is the best general manager in basketball. They made the improvements, and they're going to be tough to beat.
Is it weird for you when you pay attention, because you watch college football, you love it, you pay attention to it, when you hear that phrase general manager being thrown around the way we do now?
This is how crazy our country is. We've actually screwed up college athletics, which used to be the greatest thing in the world.
Yeah.
And we see how bad we are as a society. How do you screw up college sports? And I'm not against the players making money, but I think the model they have now is unsustainable, where you have to come up with tens of millions of dollars every year to pay college players. I'm not in for that. And I've said before, I've given more money to Auburn, legal or illegal, than any athlete in the history of the school. And the notion that I'm going to come up with a couple $1 million every year so we can be good at basketball and football, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Now you have to do it every semester. They're leaving at the end of a semester after you already negotiated.
It's crazy. And you get to leave after every year because the school offered you more money. I says, this is unsustainable. And I says, one thing I'm pretty sure of, Cole, black and broke don't work in any municipality in the world. I've been rich for a long time. I plan to stay that way. But the notion that I'm going to give Auburn millions of dollars every year so we can be good at sports, that's just not going to happen. I'm really proud of what I've given Auburn, and I'm going to continue to give them money. But I'm not going to give them millions of dollars every year so we can be good at sports. Exactly. That's just stupid. Because people be talking about me behind my back, talking, how did that guy go broke? How did he lose all that money? Because y'all wanted to be good at sports, fool.
I want to ask you one Auburn question before I let you run.
Sure.
Greg and I are not basketball experts, but
there's no such thing as an expert, Cole.
Okay.
Stop saying that.
All right.
It's just somebody's opinion. I hate when people say somebody's an expert.
We don't have very intelligent opinions on basketball very often, but we try. Tahad Pettiford got in games early, and we both said, there's something different there with this kid.
Yeah.
It's just, and he wasn't playing a ton early, but you could just see the twitch, the movement. He had a different gear, I guess you would say. When you watch him play, what do you think of him, and then do you think he comes out because it does translate that well to the NBA?
Well, I think he needs to stay in school another year, first and foremost. He's probably going to make more money in college than he would in the NBA because he's not going to be a lottery pick. And let me tell you this. I think Coach Oates at Alabama is a terrific coach. But I think at Auburn we have the best X and O coach. I would put him and Bruce Pearl up against any college coach in the country for X and O's. And if you want to get coached and be better as a basketball player, the more time you can spend with Coach Pearl is better. So I hope he stays at Auburn another year, because the problem is in the NBA, if you go there and you're not ready, you're going to be a G League guy or never make it to the NBA.
Right.
You need to be mentally and physically prepared to play when you get to the NBA. So I would love him to stay at Auburn for another year and get coached by, because Bruce going to make you a better player. Bruce going to make you a better player, period.
How many times did Ernie read the French Open promo last night?
Oh, my God. I get so – you can't say that. This is how stupid these people are.
That's why I said it.
Can you believe that? Yeah, they're like – because I made fun of them. They're like, why they stop calling it the French Open? And, we paid an astronomical amount of money. And they're like, you got to call it Roland Garros. I said, it's the French Open.
That's it.
But these people are stupid, man.
I got to let you run.
Hey, appreciate you,
Thank
brother.
you for coming by. Always great to catch up with you, War Eagle. Charles Barkley, the legend, stopping by. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. They were winding him up quick, but I had to get a couple more in. So appreciate Chuck stopping by. It's always fun talking with him, always fun visiting with him. One of the guys that we all enjoyed watching growing up and still enjoy watching today. So we got a lot more coming to you from the Regions Tradition next right here on Jocks 94.5. No break here, John? All right, we'll take it to the top then. All right, McElroy. Sorry, I had to get a swig of water there because I thought we were going to go to break, and we don't have any more breaks left. We have no more guests left. We have no more co-hosts left. So we'll just ride it out here to the end of the show. 8:45, Wednesday, May 14th, Jocks 94.5. We heard from Hugh Freeze a little bit earlier. Kirby Smart stopped by. Kirby did a nice job kind of explaining that GM role, and maybe even a little bit different than what Greg and I explained yesterday when talking about why he does not have one that just has that title, and essentially telling us, I have a lot of guys in my building that do what a GM does at a lot of other places. We just don't call them the GM. We have guys that watch talent in the portal. We have guys that watch talent on other rosters that for guys that might be going into the portal. We have guys that handle the money. We have guys that handle the negotiations. So I don't think it really comes down to maybe just he does all of it or he wants to do all of it or he thinks he can do all of it. But at the same time, looking at it from the standpoint of we have people that already manage this. We have people that already do this. I don't need to just bring a different person in, give them that title, and then all of a sudden call them GM and let them just continue to move forward. So it was cool to hear Kirby talk about that. Kind of cool to hear him kind of follow up with it because Greg and I did talk about it yesterday. And then also hearing Kirby talking about the numbers. And we asked Greg Sankey earlier in the show about roster limits. Why does that have to happen? I still don't think there's a ton of clarity with it. I still don't think that a lot of people, and maybe you guys are smarter than me and you understand exactly why we want roster limits. I would imagine just financially so you can have an even way to distribute the money, or you're going to know when a certain amount of money is distributed to one program, exactly how many guys it's going to go to. I get that part of it, but if you have what we have always referenced as walk-ons, are they going to count as a part of the revenue that's going to be shared with those athletes anyway? They're not expecting that money. They're not getting NIL money really right now. So I just don't understand what the continuing to have what we would reference as a walk-on still be a part of a program when, let's say, you had 85 scholarships and that's what you're distributing the money to moving forward. It's a confusing thought process to me and philosophy to me. However, as Greg Sankey said, there are a lot of lawyers, a lot of attorneys, a lot of people from a legal standpoint that are looking into that in a different way and view it in different ways. He couldn't go into it very much because, of course, it is a major part of a settlement that's scheduled to drop here soon. So he didn't spend a lot of time on it. But hearing Kirby talk about how the numbers game is different now and has to be managed in a different way. He talked about their number one goal in spring practice was to get the 33 newbies, as he referenced them, either guys that came in through the portal, guys that are coming in out of high school, early enrollees, or guys that have been there a year, maybe hadn't played a ton. You got to get them ready. You got to get them prepared. And to be able to do that means more practice reps. You have less practice time seemingly almost every year. But those got to get out here ready to play because Georgia had a beat-up running back room, a beat-up offensive line, a beat-up defensive line. Linebacker room was dinged up. So they had a lot of different players that had to play different roles for them later in the season. And now, I can remember at SEC Media Days last year talking to Steve Sarkisian, and he said point blank, we will play younger guys earlier. It might be fourth quarter. It might be designated third series of the game. But some of these guys have got to play because we're planning on playing 14, 15 games this year. And if we're going to play more games, and it's going to be a more difficult schedule, which is specifically for Texas, it was last year. It was going to be a more physical schedule. They had to have different ways to be ready for that. And having more young guys that have played more snaps, that are prepared to play more snaps, was going to be the main way to do it. And Kirby just said it's been a big emphasis point. It's been a big part of what they've had to do, what they've tried to do. So it's that's kind of something happening around all of college football. And the portal has obviously changed a large portion of that when you look at guys moving from one place to the other. And Kirby just said it on the show. He said, listen, when you lose your starting left guard or your starting right tackle or your number one tight end, the drop-off is more significant than ever before. The drop-off is more significant now than it has ever been. And so you're looking at the fact of, we're going to have a guy coming in that's got to play that doesn't have a ton of reps, that hasn't been in our system, that doesn't understand our scheme, that doesn't know our verbiage, and we got to shove him in. He's got to be able to go. It's not a Georgia problem. It's not an SEC problem. It's a college football problem. And that's part of that development that we talk about sometimes. Development not is just getting guys ready to play or making sure guys know your terminology or making sure guys know the speed of the game at this level. There's a lot more that goes into that. It's understanding how to play next to the guy, lining up to your right or your left, how to play with continuity on the offensive line, how secondary players are supposed to trade things off in different coverages. You're running a twist and you got a penetrator and a loop man. That loop man's got to know exactly how that penetrator is going to hit it and where he can just ride him off that opposite butt cheek and be able to get towards the quarterback. I mean, all those things come with reps in your system, in your scheme, next to the guys that you're going to play with. And I think it goes back to the Jamie Newman thing for me. Remember when Jamie Newman transferred into Georgia? And first off, everybody thought that he was going to be the end all be all. He was going to change everything, and all of a sudden, Georgia was going to win multiple national championships because of what he was doing. And he did have talent, played well at Wake Forest, and that sort of walk the dog zone read offense that they had. And everybody thought he was just going to be a total difference maker at Georgia. And then whole COVID deal, whatever, he leaves right before the season, and everybody said, well, they have time. It's not a big deal. They have this other guy. The big deal was that he stole reps for an entire spring and an entire summer. And that was somebody else that could have been lining up with those guys. That was somebody else that could have been taking those snaps, taking those reps. That was where it hurt the team. Not just that there wasn't another guy who was going to be able to come in and play quarterback. Not that there wasn't anybody else that was going to have that kind of talent. It's just that the reps with those receivers, with that center, with that offensive line, with that tight end, with those running backs, they were stolen. And that's a lot of times what's happening now with the portal. You get a left tackle or a left guard that takes all the reps with the first team in spring, or even all the reps with the second team in spring. And it's one of the reasons that I have a lot of confidence in this Auburn offensive line. I'll follow up with that here in just a second. But you get this left guard, and all of a sudden he takes every rep with the first team in the spring or even the second team in the spring, and then after spring, bam, he's gone. Well, now the next guy comes in. 1, does he know the offense? 2, does he know the verbiage? 3, how's he going to play next to the guys to his right and to his left? They haven't done it before. They don't know how long they're going to stay on combo blocks. They don't know if he needs help on an inside move of the 3 technique. They don't know if he struggles more with a bull rusher or a pass rusher that is more quick twitch and has more speed moves. They don't have any idea. How much communication does he need? I can tell you this. I had guards that lined up next to me. I didn't have to say anything to them. You put Mike Pasillo next to me when we were at Auburn. He also took reps at center and actually played some center. I didn't have to tell him anything. He knew everything. You get a younger guy or a guy that hadn't played a whole lot, all of a sudden you have to over-communicate with that individual. Quarterback, same way. We would get tackles in the game that hadn't played, and you're trying to just make sure you get the signal or whatever the call is all the way down the line to the tackle. You're more concerned with him getting it than anybody else because he's probably not going to know what to do or what adjustment to make because he hadn't been out here with us. He hadn't played in this system. He hadn't played in this scheme. So that's where I think the depth portion of this comes into play and what Kirby's talking about of guys getting more reps, guys being out there with one another, new players playing more, and the roster limits are going to work against that. And then the second part of that is who you're repping against. There's another thing that Kirby said on the show that I thought was interesting was looking at the NFL model of practice, taking what those guys do and then moving it forward to how much of that do we need to take? How much of the NFL model do we need to take moving forward as far as practice? And then how much of the old school college model can we continue to uphold? Because now if your roster numbers are overall are down and you're going to say 95 or 105 from 120 plus, what kind of scout team are you going to have? Who's going to be on your scout team? How are you going to be able to manage your scout team? Are those guys going to be able to give you the quality reps that you need? It all kind of, it's this full circle of life as far as college football practice is concerned. And these guys don't know how to do it because they haven't had to before. And you're also sitting here making these plans for something that you don't know what it's going to be. You're trying to plan for practice scheduling, roster size, travel, who's getting reps at what spots, and you don't know what that number is going to be. It might be 15 less than what you're planning for. It might be 20 less than what you're planning for. And then all of a sudden it changes, and you have to go back and alter your entire practice schedule. You have to go back and alter everything that you're going to be doing. So it's a lot for these guys to manage right now. And the depth portion of that, we saw it catch up with a lot of teams. Ohio State probably managed it better than anybody. You're talking about a Donovan Jackson that had to kick out the tackle from guard and was able to manage some few things. You lose your center in Seth McLaughlin, who won the Remington. You had to replace him, and you were still able to continue to move forward and find a way to go win a national championship. Now, they were able to utilize and take advantage a little bit of a situation where you could stock up both financially and with bodies one last time, with people kind of thought this was coming. Don't know if you're going to be able to do that next year. Don't know if you're going to be able to do the same thing, to be able to just go overspend to be able to build a roster, or go get more guys that can be on your roster and be a part of your team because there were no roster limits and you didn't have to worry about that. All things that are happening in college football right now, Kirby Smart laid a bunch of those out. And you can imagine just kind of how they're trying to go through it, the conversations that they're having. How many reps do the ones get? How many reps do the twos get? How many reps do the twos get with the ones now as opposed to what they used to get? And you have to schedule that out and manage that out. And then when guys get dinged up, guys get hurt, you have to figure out exactly how you're going to press forward with that. It's great stuff talking to Kirby about it and just kind of hearing his mentality. I did think it was interesting to hear him. He didn't discuss quarterbacks, but he answered Greg's question on quarterbacks. And it didn't sound like that there was really anything in stone there. Didn't sound like a lot of concrete information as far as quarterbacks of where he is or what he's concerned about or what he likes or doesn't like. So I think that might be something that garners a little more conversation leading up to the season, is where does Georgia go at quarterback and what are the possibilities at quarterback? Because we didn't get that Gunnar Stockton stamp of approval from Kirby Smart like maybe we got from even the portion of it that we got from Ryan Grubb when talking about Ty Simpson at the end of the spring for Alabama. So we'll revisit some of what Hugh Freeze said. We'll revisit a little bit of what Kirby Smart said, a little bit of what Greg Sankey said in the final hour of the show. Also, hear from Fran Brown at the ACC meetings. Bill Belichick speaking at ACC meetings. We'll get to all of that in the final hour of the show as we are live from the Regions Tradition out here at Greystone. Fun day, fun event. A lot of kids rolling around, wondering why these kids are here and not in school today. But that is a question for a different parent, not this parent right here. Come check us out. We'll be here for another hour at the Regions Tradition at Greystone Country Club. Back with more on Mac and Cube in the morning. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. Glad you're with us. 9 a.m. Wednesday, May 14th. Jocks 94.5. Appreciate you guys tuning in. We are live from the Regions Tradition. We have had Hugh Freeze, A.J. McCarron, Greg Sankey, Kirby Smart, Kalen DeBoer, Charles Barkley. The A.J. McCarron visit was not as awkward as I thought it was going to be. I kind of expected maybe a little back and forth there, a little power struggle. It was much more friendly than I envisioned. What's up, fellas? We just skipping school today, or? I think it's a little late for that. Oh, I may have dropped that on the air, but I didn't say names. So you guys are in the clear. You guys want to come be on the radio? Yeah, no, we can't do that. I'm sorry. We got youngsters out here that are skipping school coming to watch some golf. I'll hop over there in our next break. All right, so we got an hour to go here live from Greystone, Regions Tradition, and it's been a fun day so far. We've had Hugh Freeze and Kirby Smart dropping some knowledge on us that we referenced from earlier in the show. I want to take some of you back to hear a little bit of it and just what they said. This was Kirby Smart earlier with us here at Greystone on the GM role in his football program.
It's not that we don't want or need. There's a difference, okay? So some people want to delegate and not be in charge of that. We have people in GM roles, what I define as a GM role. If you're talking about evaluating talent and
right.
watching talent in the portal on other people's rosters that might go in the portal, potential, or the guys in high school, we have that. That's what a GM does. Like, we have people that do that.
Sure.
I don't want a GM tag to say, okay, well, this guy's going to just go and be the negotiator. He's going to go and close the deal and sign the deal. It's still a relationship business for us. If we were drafting and we could go across the state and say, okay, this is our draft pick, I think a GM role is really, really important. But when you have to have a relationship with somebody, how does that GM have a relationship with somebody when they have been watching tape? They're not spending time with them. Most of those GMs that are true GMs, they don't want to recruit. They don't want to have a relationship. They came from NFL because they weren't doing those things. So they become transactional. And look, we find our niche in our culture, which is relational and trying to have a relationship with somebody. We have people that do GM jobs. We don't sit here and say, well, Coach Smart does everything. I can't do everything. We have people that talk numbers. We have people that do different things.
Sure.
We just don't have somebody that's making the ultimate decision because that guy doesn't know the market sometimes. He's trying to figure the market out.
Mm-hmm.
The NFL, the GM knows the market because it's set. So a guy walks into Oklahoma, let's say, and he's the GM. That's great. That's awesome. But he may not know the entire structure and market that's out there, and you may overpay. You may not have a chance to get somebody.
So that's Kirby Smart on the GM role inside his football facility, which essentially sounds to me like he has multiple GMs, just doesn't feel the need to label someone with that. But also didn't feel the need to bring somebody different in, which we've seen some schools do. He actually reference to Oklahoma at one point. I don't think that that's him pointing the finger at Jim Nagy or trying to say that Jim Nagy is this or isn't that, but I think we all believe that Jim Nagy is more of a talent acquisition guy. He's somebody that's going to be able to watch film, evaluate what that talent is, give you an idea of if they're going to be able to compete at a high level. I mean, think about what Jim Nagy did for a long time. He went to MAC games. He went to Conference USA games. He went to West Coast Conference games, and he watched different guys in different leagues, obviously SEC, Big 12, ACC at the same time, but he went to watch a lot of different guys in a lot of different leagues and wanted to know, could they come to the Senior Bowl, could they compete, and then ultimately would they be able to compete in the NFL? And if he saw that, then he tried to get them to his event to be able to show off to NFL scouts, GMs, coaches, because he thought they'd be able to compete in the NFL. He's going to be able to do that for Oklahoma. Now, they might ask him to do some other things, but I doubt Jim Nagy's going to be sitting in their negotiating table talking NIL with the quarterback coming out of high school. It's not going to be his role. You heard Kalen DeBoer on the show earlier today talking about Courtney Morgan, that he also helps out with some of the stuff with the NCAA and NCAA rules. And when you can recruit and can't recruit. That's not his ultimate job. It's not the only thing he does. But I think Courtney Morgan probably a little bit more on the relationship side of things, having conversations with guys about what their NIL is, what their NIL should be, shouldn't be, and different things like that. Now you go to North Carolina, Bill Belichick, who brings in a Michael Lombardi, and you would imagine that that's probably a lot of that is financial. A lot of that is numbers. How many quarterbacks are on the roster? How many tight ends are on the roster? We need to add a receiver. What a normal GM would do inside of an NFL franchise that would make sense for how they run their team and how they run their program. So it's just a different role at a lot of different places. That's why the conversation with Jake Trotter that we had on the show yesterday, I would tell you, go find his article at ESPN.com about that role and how different it can be and what it exactly is at so many different places. It's an interesting read because I don't think this is just a role that's going to be very, very similar at every single place. Now, the schools are different. Some schools have a lot more money to manage. Some schools have a lot more turnover. Like, can you imagine being the GM at Ole Miss or Colorado? Feels like there's a lot more turnover there than there is at some other places. Fran Brown's still trying to get Syracuse right, and he's had a ton of roster turnover the last 2 years. You may need somebody that's a little bit more adept at dealing with numbers and how different guys are going to fit in different positions along the depth chart and what that's going to mean and how those teams are going to operate. So it's fascinating to discuss and think about and talk about, and even more fascinating to hear these coaches discuss because it's going to be different for different guys. And we mentioned quarterbacks with him a little bit earlier. This was Kirby Smart when asked about his quarterback situation there at Georgia.
Well, I mean, for me, it's about who plays the best, who gives the best chance to win. We've got a young kid coming up that has not had many real reps. He didn't go through spring last year. This was his first real spring in Puglisi. He's coming up, getting better. We got two young guys. Then we've got a guy that now has some experience. He got to play in an SEC championship and a playoff game. So those two experiences for him were tremendous. And then you've got Puglisi, who's really talented and coming up. So I'm excited about those guys.
So Ryan Puglisi might be a guy that goes out and competes for Georgia this year. But I think a lot of us just expect to hear that stamp of approval for the number one guy, or at least a coach give a little bit of vote of confidence to, hey, he's going to be the guy leaving spring. He's still going to have to earn it, but he's the leader in the clubhouse moving forward, kind of like we've heard Coach Grubb reference and Coach DeBoer reference with Ty Simpson. A.J. McCarron also told us earlier in the show today he thinks it'll be Ty Simpson when it's all said and done, but just different thought process there by Kirby. And listen, we know Kirby's the ultimate in competing, making his guys compete, making his guys earn. So it's not going to be often he's going to hand something out via verbally on a radio show or in the media or in his facility. It's not going to happen very often. It's just kind of not who he is. We do know what happens often. That's the weather changes. I mean, it was 59 here when we showed up at the golf course. Now it's probably 74. Sun's gleaming. Beautiful day out here at Greystone. Weather in Alabama can be unpredictable. That's why you need the reliability of a Train. Voted America's most trusted HVAC brand. Right now you can receive up to a 10-year warranty on parts and labor on select Train home comfort systems. Find out more at Train.com. And remember, it's hard to stop a train. So Kirby Smart and quarterback would be one of the bigger questions heading into fall camp, exactly where that is and what that is. And he seemed confident in the rest of his roster. But I do think that, kind of like we mentioned with Kalen DeBoer and Ryan Williams, because there is so much going on in college football, because there is so much change right now in college football, I do think it takes away from some of the things that we normally would spend more time on. And maybe Georgia's quarterback situation would be one of those things. Maybe Ryan Williams and how he can be a game changer and how much better he makes Alabama than a lot of the other teams in the league would be something that we would spend more time on. We haven't spent as much time talking about certain things like that because we got a new 16-team playoff that apparently looks like it's coming. We've got guys in the transfer portal. We have coaches on the move. We've got guys leaving for the NFL draft. The NFL draft takes place. There's a lot of other things that just seem to be on the horizon. We got a house settlement that's coming out. We don't know what that's going to do to roster size or roster space or how guys are going to manage their rosters. New GM roles popping up on college football teams. There's a litany of things that we've been able to talk about because they're new and they're different, and we spend more time on that. But I do think moving forward, that's probably going to be a conversation that Greg and I have that we haven't had yet, and that is, where is Georgia at quarterback? What is Georgia going to be at quarterback this year? Because you heard Greg mention, Puglisi and the arm strength and some of the throws he's seen him made can be impressive. But I know what I've seen Gunnar Stockton get in the game and do, and that's number one, rally his teammates. I've said it before on this show and other places. I was standing on that sideline in Atlanta, and when it was announced after halftime that Carson Beck wasn't going back in and he was, that sideline changed. It was different. The demeanor was different. The guys were jumping up and down. There was a different energy. They rallied around him. And it's one of the things that I always remember Nick Saban saying, and he would say it to the media, and he said it to us in TV meetings as well while he was at Alabama, was the team will decide who the quarterback is when he had a quarterback competition. And I don't think that meant that, Deontay Lawson's walking in the locker room saying, all right, coach, this guy's the starter. but he would be able to witness the team choose the quarterback in that how they rallied around him, how they responded to him, probably how they allowed him to lead would be most important, how they took their advice, if they could actually move the meter with the guys in the locker room, on the practice field, around the facility, and then that was going to be the guy. That's who the quarterback was most likely going to be. So I would imagine there's a lot of that with Kirby also, and I know Gunnar Stockton's got that at the end of the day. Jalen Walker, last year when we talked to him before the Sugar Bowl, he's like, that's my guy. Like, he's the one that we wanted him to get a chance. We've been rooting for him all year. You also heard a couple other guys on defense after the SEC championship game on set with Roman Harper and those guys at the SEC network say, I came in with him in recruiting. That's my quarterback. That's my guy. So I think he's going to have the locker room. That's probably a big advantage Gunnar Stockton's going to have. Toughness not going to be questioned. We've seen that dude get his helmet knocked off in the game. We've seen him pop back up, seen him take hits. He's got great mobility. He's going to be able to break you down with his legs. I think he's got the arm strength. We saw him fit a couple tight throws in that SEC championship game. I think now it's just going to come down to operating the offense. And how efficient can he be, the decision-making that's going to be there. And keep in mind what we've talked about with Greg and what we talked about with Hugh Freeze, and that is playing quarterback for an offensive-minded coach and a defensive-minded coach, and how different that can be. You might need a little bit of a different makeup mentally, emotionally, to play at a high level for a defensive-minded coach. And, like, my brain has completely shifted on this. I've gone a completely different direction on this topic because I had never thought about it the way that Greg laid it out. And I had never looked at it through that lens. And I only played for, well, we had God rest his soul, Brother Oliver, for a couple games as an interim head coach, but everybody loved him to the point where it didn't really matter where his philosophies were, offense, defense. Like, his overall philosophy was one that 98% of the team was on board with. But I played mostly for, offensive-minded coaches. And so it wasn't something that I had to be overly concerned about. That don't screw it up mentality wasn't really there for me. It wasn't something that I had to manage or deal with. It wasn't a part of my everyday talking about what we were going to be as a football team or I was going to be as a football player. We didn't really have to do that. We didn't have to manage that part of it. So Georgia might, and that might not be as solidified as we think. That might not be in stone to the effect that we look at and say, oh, yeah, Georgia's set. Georgia's good. Georgia's got their guy. That's just what it's going to be. It may be a little bit different for them this upcoming fall. And when I reference fall, I mean more fall camp and trying to decide who the quarterback's going to be and maybe other quarterbacks having an opportunity to win that job. If you're looking for a realtor to win the job to sell your house, it's got to be Gusty Goulas and the Gusty Goulas Group. Call 205-542-1996 today, or you can just Google Gusty Goulas Group, and you're going to see over 850 five-star Google reviews. Now, listen, most agents are going to start marketing after you listen to them, not Gusty Goulas. He's been investing in marketing, technology, Facebook, Instagram, radio, Twitter, all of it, to try to do his best to get your home sold and get top dollar for it. Serving more than 3,000 home buyers and sellers in the greater Birmingham area. It's Gusty Goulas and the Gusty Goulas Group. They've helped family members of mine. They can help you. Contact the only agent I would trust if I need to sell a home in the Birmingham area. Gusty Goulas, brokered by eXp Realty and the Gusty Goulas Group. 205-542-1996 or visit GustyGoulasGroup.com today. All right, ACC meetings happening. We'll hear from Bill Belichick on the other side. Hadn't heard a lot from him, but he has spoken again, and we'll hear that next on Mac and Cube in the morning. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning, 9:19, Wednesday, May 14th, right here on Jocks 94.5. Talked a lot about the GM role in college football today, and as soon as I compliment the weather, Orlando, now it looks like it might pour. Is it going to rain? No, it's not going to rain. Just a little cloudy. You should still come out. Still come check it out here. Beautiful day. This actually makes it a little bit nicer. Cools it off a little bit because it was getting a little toasty. Had to take the quarter zip off. But going to be nice out here today. Going to be a beautiful weekend. Crowd showing up early here at Greystone. A lot of folks walking around early on, checking out. A lot of folks still on the driving range. It is interesting that Greg does radio till 10, but tees off at 8 every year. Story for another day. General manager role in college football. Bill Belichick brings one from the NFL, and obviously that made some waves. What has made more waves with Belichick has been his significant other. He was asked about her at ACC meetings yesterday.
All right, so I know that you're aware that your relationship with Jordan Hudson has been a headline over the last few months. And all of the specifics aside, because a lot has come out in the last couple of days, how do you think that impacts your ability to coach this football team, if at all?
Yeah, I mean, that's, really off to the side. It's a personal relationship, and she doesn't have anything to do with UNC football. I'm excited to be back in the coaches' meetings and getting ready for, June, and then August when we get to training camp. So June will be a big recruiting month for us, and then August we'll start to get ready for the season.
I'll be honest with you guys. It was one thing that I was actually looking forward to asking Nick Saban today, and just was how he feels like Belichick is going to react to some of the things happening in college football right now, how he would manage a lot of that. Won't get to. But when you hear Bill answer a question like that, you kind of begin to think, oh, okay, well, it's going to be fine. He'll be okay. He'll be able to manage this. Things are not as wonky or as bonkers as maybe they're being perceived in the media right now. Now, maybe they are. We don't know. But when you do allow your significant other to be a portion of your production company that is filming things around you and the football team, I don't think it's fair to say that they have nothing to do with UNC football. So I don't know what the actual title should be. I know what people have referenced it as far as her role in some of those things, which I think doesn't necessarily say to the general public that, no, she's not at all part of North Carolina football. She might not be listed on the school's directory as an employee, but that doesn't mean that she has anything to do with it. And when she's walking around on the field at practice, once again, can't say that you don't have anything to do with it. It's just not a real thing. Also asked Coach Belichick what the players have had to say about all this.
And I know that you're not on social media and you don't read as much as everybody else has seen. But when it comes to having conversations with your players, have you been able to talk about any of those things and the specifics of what's going on off the field?
Yeah, no, I talk to the players, and when we meet with them, when they come in to visit and so forth, sure.
And how have those conversations gone?
Yeah, great. Well, again, we want to make the players the best that they can be, provide them the best opportunity on and off the field, and that's what we're about at UNC, and that's what we're going to do the best for every single player we have.
I feel like a little bit of a disconnect there of exactly where we were going with what we were talking to the players about. Nonetheless, Belichick agreed to do 2 interviews at ACC Media Days. Apparently, Reese Davis and SportsCenter, which was where these are from. How Coach Belichick wants people to see the UNC football program.
Well, everything we do is a pro. It's a pro model. Head coach, general manager, and we want the players to develop professionally to their maximum football level, academically, and as a pro in life, to be ready to go into wherever life takes them, whether that's owning their business or working for a company or whatever that happens to be. So they're all life lessons. It's similar to the college to pro that we used to have in the NFL, where the college players became pros, but now the high school players and all college players are getting monetized. And so there's an element of a professional job of football as well as the academic side of the college scholar athlete.
I'm just going to tell you guys this, and I don't know, there probably are not many programs that I have as little of an idea of what's happening behind the scenes as I do at North Carolina. Now, there may be some, in the MAC or the Pac-12, Pac-2, that I don't really have an idea what's happening behind the scenes. I have no idea what's happening in North Carolina right now. I have no idea how it's being run, managed, what's going on, what the reality is, as opposed to how it's perceived or how it's delivered to the public. But once again, I'm going to say it. When you hear that answer from Bill Belichick, it does not feel like things are out of control. It does not feel like things are sideways. It feels like he has a clean grip on exactly what's going on, and he's managing things the way that they need to be managed. Now, does that mean that that's what it is? No. Maybe he just knows how to deliver a message and has figured that out for the first time in his 87-year career. Because it didn't feel like he ever did that in New England. It was always some sort of a wall barrier he was trying to build up against the media, go a different direction against a question. But you hear him answer questions like that, and all of a sudden you sit back and say, well, hold on, this whole picture has been painted like it was splatter paint. Like we just opened the can of paint and threw it against the wall. Now, he makes it sound like it's a bit of a Picasso, like everything's just fine. And he's got this thing under control, and it's all good. And he's just managing things the right way. So I don't know where it is in between that. I have no idea as to the level of chaos and the level of coordination inside the facility for Bill Belichick. I have no clue. And honestly, I'll be perfectly honest with you, I don't have a lot of people there I can talk to about it that are in the know. Circle's kind of tight. And I think that's one of the ways that he wants it. But when you hear him come out and discuss it, it feels like maybe we should get a little bit more on board with what it's going to be and what it's looked like. He's also discussed yesterday some of the adjustments he's have to make moving to college football.
Football is still pretty much football. I mean, the players are younger, but they don't have so many bad habits. They don't have some good habits. So there's just more of a development aspect to it. And it's really just getting to learn the new team. I haven't worked with any of these players before, so getting to know the ones who are on the team, and then some of the ones who are coming in the portal. And then we have some freshmen coming in June. So there's a lot of newness there, but it's starting to come together, and it'll continue to come together and build. And just excited about the upswing for the entire year. It'll be a long process, but just want to get better day after day after day and keep stacking those good days together.
All about stacking good days together. Hasn't worked with the team. I was under the impression that he was there for spring ball. Maybe I missed that, and that was not accurate. But either way, Bill Belichick is the head coach at North Carolina now. Do you have an idea what their win total is? Do you have an idea what their win total should be? What would you just think off the top of your head the North Carolina Tar Heels win total is or should be this upcoming fall? Because I want to throw it out to you, and I want to read you their schedule and have a conversation about what it should be, perceptionally, reality, with the North Carolina Tar Heels year one under Bill Belichick. And the roster continues to be revamped. I mean, there's guys going in and out of that roster on an almost daily basis. So it's going to be hard to pinpoint it as far as the quality of team that they're going to throw out on the field because we don't know exactly who's going to be playing for them. And we don't know what a lot of these players are capable of that they're bringing in. But we'll hit that a little bit on the other side of just exactly where they are, what they should be. I'll tell you about your CBD store. Probably going to hit the one on 280 on the way home, pick up some treats for the dog so she can get around a little bit better, be a little bit more comfortable. If you have arthritis or anxiety or a pet in your household has arthritis, anxiety, they have products that can help you with that. If you need better focus throughout the course of the day, they have products that can help you with that. What about weight loss? The Trim by SunMed is in stock now at your CBD store, the largest brick-and-mortar CBD retailer in the world. If you're just looking to take the edge off at night and don't like dipping into some of the other things that you are usually getting into, your CBD store can give you answers there as well. First company to have USDA-certified organic oil supplements. They've got the stamp seal on those products. That means they meet and achieve a certain set of standards and tests before they're signed off on. Check out one of their 3 locations today. Highway 280 by Bailey Brothers, 150 by the Cage in Cleveland, Trustful just off 459. Your CBD store where good health hits home. North Carolina win total under Bill Belichick and the schedule that lies ahead. Next, Mac and Cube in the morning. Quick little follow-up on something Greg Sankey shared with us earlier in the show today, that one of the things that he has to try to avoid on a regular basis is, according to sources, and in doing so, context should be key. And I would advise many of you that are taking quotes shared on certain radio shows today and publishing them on your websites and on your social media to obtain more information, to obtain more attention, to maybe understand context to those as well. But context is not important to a lot of people. Clicks are more important, and retweets and shares and trying to be cute are more important to a lot of people as well. So, but I would warn those to just consider context at certain points in time when you are referencing certain things, talking about certain things. We got a lot more to get to, of course, the course of the show today. The Week 1 schedule for the NFL has been leaked. We'll get to that in just a moment. Former NFL great head football coach Bill Belichick is now in North Carolina. John, when I asked the question, that win total for North Carolina, what would you have just thrown out? What would you have thought that it would have been, not really having looked into anything?
If it was any other coach, I feel like it would be maybe 5.5, 6, somewhere in there. But I think Belichick gets a bump, so I wouldn't be surprised if it's like 7.5.
I would have said 4.5, just thinking out loud about what their team's going to be. Not even looking at the schedule. I just thought it would have been around 4.5, maybe 5, like you said. But their win total is at 7.5 this year, as of right now. That feels steep to me. I mean, that means steep. You're asking people to bet on 8 wins. Year 1 for North Carolina. And I'll give you the schedule here for Belichick year 1. We mentioned earlier in the show when we ran through some of the kick times that were announced by ESPN yesterday. They're going to open it up on ABC, or excuse me, on ESPN Monday night, Labor Day night, September the 1st, 7 p.m. against TCU. That'll be TCU at North Carolina. They're at Kenan Memorial Stadium in Chapel Hill. They'll be at Charlotte next. It's not going to be much of a challenge. Richmond next. So if you get TCU, you could easily be staring down the barrel of a 3-0 start. Then you get another first year, kind of. Is Scott Frost a first-year head coach? First year.
Yes.
First year, chapter 2. First page, chapter 2. 2.1. 1.2 for Scott Frost. How do we reference this? It's his first year, the second time around as the UCF head coach. So, I mean, I think a lot of the talent, you saw a couple of their guys get drafted. You got a new head coach coming in. That thing could be complicated. The offense won't be a lot different than what they were running, so the personnel could sort of fit. But how about if you get off to a 4-0 start and then get a week off, so 2 weeks of build-up to get Clemson at home? And just keep in mind on October the 4th right there, if that were to take place, if you were to get a 4-0 North Carolina, if you had an undefeated Clemson, that's a big if right there, you'd have a Clemson team that knocked off LSU, Troy, Georgia Tech on the road, and Syracuse. Now, you might say, oh, Syracuse, Georgia Tech, they took Georgia to the wire last year, had a pretty good football team. They got a lot of those pieces back on offense. I thought Fran Brown did a great job. You go get Steve Angeli from Notre Dame, a quarterback who I think is going to be able to fit right into your system and your scheme. I'm not going to look at Syracuse as a pushover this upcoming season. And we're going to hear from Fran Brown on the show tomorrow that I think may offer you up a little more reason to buy into what he is as the Syracuse head football coach. But if you were to get 4-0, because Clemson also going to be off before they travel to Chapel Hill. Clemson, by the way, will follow that up with a trip to Boston College and then SMU at home when you're talking about their schedule. So you get Clemson, but then you get another week off before you travel to Cal if you're North Carolina. Then you get Virginia at Syracuse. It's a tough one. Stanford at home, at Wake right up the road, Duke, and then at NC State. So if you had to go find 8, like I said, if they were to get the first one, and remember, you got Josh Hoover coming back, a quarterback for TCU, threw for over 3,000 yards last year. Charlotte, Richmond, UCF. Let's say you start 4-0. I'm not going to give you Clemson. Cal, I'm not going to give it to them. Now, Virginia, Stanford, Wake, Duke, I could say maybe easier time finding ways to win those football games. At NC State's going to be tough. Number one, tough place to play. That place will be bonkers. Always going to be, Coach Dorn's going to have a physical football team. That one will be tough to manage. I think at Cal is going to be tough to manage. You might have to get those first 4 games to get to 8 if you're North Carolina. Not to say that you can't win at Syracuse or you can't win at Cal, but it feels a little bit more difficult. So when we It's an interesting thought right now as to where North Carolina really is, because I don't think we can even sit there and tell you how confident, unconfident, what percentage of confidence we have in their roster. I don't know what to make of it. It's a tough study because there's so many guys in and out. I mean, Tamir Hickman Collins, linebacker from Florida State, we mentioned him yesterday out of the portal. You get Jordan Owens, a tight end from Oklahoma State. Don't know exactly what he's going to look like. Jonathan Agumadu, linebacker from Oklahoma State. You get Shamar Easter, a tight end, hadn't played a ton at Arkansas. He comes in. Gregory Smith, a safety from Florida, that comes in. You add him to the roster. You get Christian Dunbar Hawkins, a cornerback from UCLA. Ja'Kai Moore, an offensive lineman that's played a little bit at South Carolina. But he's got SEC experience, so you figure he ought to be able to get in there and help. Will Osteen, tackle from Jacksonville State. Hadn't seen the tape. Gannon Burt, long snapper from Florida. Y'all got tape on him? Can you fill me in on what he's got? Isaiah Johnson, defensive lineman from Arizona, coming in. DeAndre Robinson, defensive lineman from Florida. So, there's guys from big programs coming in. I just don't know. I know what a couple of them are. There's a lot of them I don't know what they are or what they're going to be. I've seen Jordan Hall, tackle for UAB, play. He's huge, 6'8", 310. But I don't think he's a plug and go. All of a sudden, left side of the North Carolina offensive line is going to be locked down. They're not going to have any issues there. So still a lot of question marks, still a lot of concerns, still a lot of wonder of what's it going to be, how's it going to look, who's going to manage what. And then you take that with some of the off-the-field distractions and maybe the perception of what the program really is and the perception of what is really happening inside the program. Like, Belichick can sit there and say that he's not on, Instabook or whatever he calls it, or any of the social media platforms, but you don't think his players are seeing all that stuff? You don't think his players are reading it? Those guys are. Could easily be a distraction to those guys. And we don't know how they react to it. We don't know what they think about it. We don't know exactly what it means to them. So it's going to make for an interesting watch, at least early, because there's so many unknowns. And then there's going to be folks, rightfully so, that sit there and say, I think he's going to get it right. I think he'll manage it well. I think he'll have them ready. And then there's going to be folks that look back at his last 3 or 4 draft classes in New England and say, he didn't even get that right. What makes you think he's going to get this right? Which I also think is fair. It's one thing that's not brought up enough is the last 3, 4, 5 draft classes in New England. And just like, what? Who? It didn't go well late. I think it was holding on by a thread for a while. So, fun case study in college football this year. Bill Belichick at North Carolina. What's it going to be? What's it going to look like? What will week 1 of the NFL schedule look like? We'll give you that, give you the games, and give you some bad box scores of the day next on Mac and Cube in the morning. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. It is 9:44, Wednesday, May 14th. Jocks 94.5 app is in your app store, iPhone, Android. You can download that for free. Listen on the go. Also watch live on YouTube every morning. Just search Jocks 945. You can always tune into the show. That way, go back and watch it if you missed it to check anything out. Podcasts are going to be on the app as well as JocksFM.com if there's anything that you need to check up on. We'll give you some bad box scores of the day here, excuse me, in just a moment as we are live at Greystone at the Regions Tradition. No idea how McElroy's round is going so far, but he is out on the course playing, hopefully shanking balls everywhere. Week 1 of the NFL schedule, Thursday night, Cowboys-Eagles. We got that one yesterday. We know that's going to be your opener. And then Friday, September the 5th, Kansas City and the Los Angeles Chargers at 7:15 on, John?
Prime?
YouTube.
Oh, YouTube TV? Oh, that makes sense. That's how I'll watch it. Yeah.
Nope. Just the old YouTube.
What, like a bootleg? Like, I know I can get it that way.
It's the YouTube game.
So it's
YouTube
streaming.
game.
Oh.
That means it's free
YouTube.
for everybody.
There's a lot of people that aren't going to know how to find it. There are going to be some headaches there.
Oh, boy.
Where's the game? Sunday, September 7th, you'll get in the early window, Browns at Jets, Saints at Titans. Who's the starting quarterback for the Saints right there, guys?
John?
Right now, most likely Spencer Rattler.
Oh, cookies.
Do we think that they bring anybody in? It's not going to be Tyler Shuck. It's just not. It's got to be Rattler.
I assume it's Rattler for now.
Like Greg said yesterday, he's like, Tyler Shuck or Spencer Rattler? Tyler Shuck's not starting for the Saints week 1. There's no way. Denver at Houston. The Bucs are at Carolina. The Dolphins are at the Steelers. Niners at Colts. Vikings at Lions. Falcons at Patriots. Your late window will be Giants at Raiders. Jags at Cardinals. Bears at Commanders. Seahawks at Rams. And then your Sunday night football game is going to be Bengals at Bills. That's a fun one for your first Sunday night football game, going up against college football, by the way. And then Monday, September the 8th, you will get Ravens at Packers, 7:15 on ESPN for your first Monday night football. So strong schedule there. Week 1 for the NFL, just looking at some of those matchups, where some of those games are going to be, who's going to be facing off. It's going to be a lot of fun. All right, let's roll into our bad box scores, plural, of the day.
Offense. He was giving them the business.
Intentional grounding. Offense number 7. It's a 10-yard penalty. I'm talking to America here. Excuse me.
That's the game.
And as we are witnessing here live at Greystone, weather in Alabama can be unpredictable. I mean, we're getting sun in the 80s, then we're getting cloud cover in the 50s. We're getting wind, and then no wind. Dark skies, light skies. It's just back and forth all over the place, but the temperature's fantastic. It feels great out here. Great weather day to be out here watching some golf at the Regions Tradition. But that's why you need the reliability of a Train, voted America's most trusted HVAC brand. Right now, you can receive up to a 10-year warranty on parts and labor on select Train home comfort systems. Find out more at Train.com. It's hard to stop a Train. We will go to JUCO softball first. The North Dakota State College of Science.
They're the Adams.
No, they are the Wolverines.
Adams would be great, by the way. Einsteins would be great.
The nerds.
Beakers, maybe, be good.
Beakers.
They're the Bobcats.
Oh.
They just went down to the St. Cloud Technical and Community College. It's not just a community college, it's a technical college and community college.
They are the Thunderbirds.
No.
Oh, guy just brought me a can of Coke with coal on the side. It's pretty sweet.
Wow. Okay.
Just dropped it off at the table. There you go.
There we go. That's love right there.
They're the frontiersmen. Or
They're
women.
not.
Oh.
They're not. No. They're the Cyclones.
Okay. So Josh Pate loves them. Okay.
Cyclones just snuck past the Bobcats 18-0 yesterday.
Okay. Nice shutout.
That time in
5.
2.
4.5.
4.5. No need for
Didn't need to play the bottom of the 5th. 13 hits got it done for St. Cloud. scored all 18 runs on those 18 hits, drove in 18. They struck out 3 times. There were only 3 hits for North Dakota State College of Science. So
thought that'd be better.
The geometry was not working around the bases there. The 2 pitchers, Dylan Geiser, went 3 innings, gave up 10 runs on 8 hits. 6 of those earned, walked 3, gave up a home run. Owen Holm came in, pitched 1 inning, gave up 8 runs on 5 hits, all 8 earned, walked 4.
It's just a rough day at the on the mound. It happens.
How about 18-1, only 1 home run for St. Cloud Technical.
That's it?
And Community College. Not Technical Community College.
And
Community College.
Well, of course, you got a couple of colleges. It's like 3-on-1. Like, no wonder it's lopsided.
It's like Gucci and Bally. We just put them together. So that was actually baseball. Now we'll roll into softball. Speaking of the ands, we'll stay with the theme there. The Minnesota West Community and Technical College just knocked off the Northland Community and Technical College. Now, Minnesota West Community and Technical College, they are you guys know this.
Tigers.
Dragons.
They're not. They're actually the Blue Jays.
Oh.
But you of course, know the Northland Community and Technical College. They are the
Wildcats.
No, they are the Mountain Ranges.
They're actually the Pioneers.
Oh.
Close. You guys are right on board there. Really,
Okay, yeah.
Right in
We're
the
in the
same
realm.
atmosphere.
They both have DNA. Yeah.
They played 5 innings, and Minnesota West won 21-0.
It happens.
16 hits, brought in the 21 runs. They did not hit a home run in the game.
Just putting the bat on the ball, baby.
2 doubles, 2 triples.
Let's go. Contact.
So 16 hits, only 4 extra base hits.
So they moneyballed it. Okay.
That's what I'm here for.
Only 6 walks, which I guess 6 walks in 5 innings is kind of a lot. However, the box score probably didn't go exactly the way that you thought. Here's how Minnesota West Community and Technical College put their runs on the board. 6 in the first, 2 in the – so you're thinking, all right, yeah, blowout city, here we go. 2 in the second. You're like, yep, here we go. Did not score in the third, did not score in the fourth, put 13 on them in the fifth.
Oh, so it was just a bad inning. Like that happens in softball and baseball.
That's
just
probably
one bad inning.
That's probably exactly what it was. is just one bad inning.
Just one.
Sometimes it gets away from you, and you don't know where it's going to go next. Problem is they're 8-16 on the season.
Whoa.
The season opener they lost 19-0 to Iowa Lakes Community College, and then Cuyahoga Community College knocked them off 28-0 in Game 2.
Mm-hmm.
They lost 24-1 to Central Lakes College in a doubleheader, 18-2 in the back end of that.
Got on the board.
If that's what you want to call it, sure. They would play Central Lakes a week later and lose a doubleheader by a combined 21-0 in 10 total innings.
Okay.
Needless to say, it has not just been one bad inning.
No, I had a feeling going into the season they were going to struggle. I knew they had some pitching issues, and it's a tough conference up there.
Really? What conference is that?
That is the Greater Lakes of the North Conference. That's what it is.
They are in Region 13.
Yeah, see?
Of something.
It's tough.
Not 100% sure which one they're in up there, but yeah. All right, finally we'll take you to minor league baseball. This would be single A ball.
Oh.
Where the Rancho Cucamonga
Conquistadors.
No,
close.
They're the Rough Riders.
They're the Quakes.
Oh.
Quakes.
They just snuck past the Inland Empire. You'll literally never get this. I could let you guys guess through 3-man front and through Feinbaum's show back to back, and you would not get 66ers. That just wasn't going to happen.
66ers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're 10 before Philadelphia is what they were. I don't even know what that means. I don't even know what that's supposed to be. The Quakes knocked off the 66ers 25-8 in minor league baseball yesterday. They did play 8.5 innings.
Okay.
And in similar fashion, the Quakes went 3-1, 3-3, 1-0-1, and 13 in the 8th.
See, it's that one inning.
That was the one. That was the one. And it must have been on Sanchez in that one inning, except for he went 3 1/3, gave up 7 hits, 10 runs.
Yeah, it's on him.
8 of those earned, walked 3, struck out 1, gave up 2 home runs.
It's on him.
I would say he was probably a part of that, except for Miguel Barro pitched a third of an inning, gave up 3 hits, 6 runs, all 6 earned, walked 3, struck out none.
Come on, Miggy.
And Horacio Macias would come in and go 1/3 of an inning, give up 6 runs on 5 hits, all 6 earned, walking 1, striking out 1. So he did get the 1K.
Old HM, okay.
He had that going for
Way to
him.
represent.
Had that going for him. It was a pretty decent day at the plate, as you could imagine, for some of the Quakes, specifically Samuel Munoz, the left fielder for the Quakes, who was 4 for 6, drove in 4, scored 3, and hit 2 home runs.
Oh, yeah. He's dialed in.
That's a nice day. That's a nice day. Also, center fielder Mai Martinez went 3 for 4, drove in 5, scored 3. He's hitting .474 on the year.
Oh, yeah.
What is he still doing in single A is what I have to ask.
Don't
you just bump him up now? Don't you just say, hey, dude, you're going to Double A tomorrow?
Would have done it during the game.
That's enough.
During the at-bat.
After 3 at-bats. Hey, buddy. Hey, Mai, you're good. Go on up. Catch the bus. You're going, I don't know what the AAA affiliate is of whatever the Quakes are the affiliate of, because I know neither. Where are the Rancho Cucamonga Quakes the affiliate of?
It feels like Minnesota, maybe. That's going to be my guess.
I can't even find it on their website. You would think that it would say, like, Twins.
The
right
Dodgers.
Away.
The Dodgers of all teams.
That's probably why I hadn't been called up there.
Yeah, exactly.
They literally don't need him.
Yeah. What do you expect? Yeah. Way out west.
Yeah, he's good.
Matter of fact, guys, y'all keep him down there, okay? Have you seen what Shohei's doing? We're fine. Don't need him. Mookie Betts. We're good. All right, appreciate A.J. McCarron, Greg Sankey, Hugh Freeze, Kirby Smart, Kalen DeBoer, Charles Barkley for stopping by the show today. If you missed any of those, you can go check out the podcast at JocksFM.com or on the Jocks app. Download that today. You can also go back and watch the YouTube show and check out all the action there. 3-man front coming at you next. We're back in studio tomorrow. Get out to Greystone this weekend. Take advantage of some beautiful weather and some lovely golf. It's going to be a fun atmosphere out here today. Appreciate the guys setting us up in a great location and being able to bring some good radio to you guys. Back tomorrow.